Let me see. Welcome to live chat. Chat filter. I guess it's all messages. I don't remember how. Oh, wait. No, never mind. It's right here. Community moderation. Uh, Participate. Subscribers. Okay. There we go. It means only subscribers can. If you're watching this live, only subscribers can comment. If you're not a subscriber and rewatching this and feel like being a jerk to me in the comment section, you have free will. It just cuts down on the trolls. Believe me, it cuts down on the trolls. Now, I don't think it lets me comment like I used to be able to. I used to be able to, like, make a comment and pin a. Can't hit that button. Apparently, if you hit that button, it throws you off of the chat. Hey, everybody, rolling in. Oh my goodness. You know, the thing that I hate the most about YouTube Live is they don't really let you do a whole lot of the settings, like, before you go live. Like, that'd be great, YouTube, if I could, like, mess with how I need it to be set up before I'm live. So I don't be like, what's this? And then jump off of the live. So, hey, everybody rolling in. I am just hanging out today. I am just, well, first of all, I have all of these envelopes to fill out to go in the next couple days for all of you that joined my letters from April. And I wish that I could comment. I wish that I could type a comment like I used to be able to. But I can't do it anymore. And so there's an admin. Maybe I can pin that. Maybe if I can pin message. That's right. So I pinned that, and that is if you want to join, and he'll be dropping it throughout for folks in case you don't see it. But if you want to join, if you want to get a letter in time, that's what I'm doing. I have this whole stack of paper. They showed up, and I'm so excited. I decided that I would get them made for me instead of making them myself on my shitty printer. And I got linen paper, like nice paper. I really want these to be something that are collectible, that people can like store in a folder or something like that. And so this is the first letter going out to the folks who joined my snail mail club. And I'm so excited about that. Somebody says, I don't see a like button. If you want to like the video, you just double tap on the screen during a live, and that's how it makes folks like it. So yeah, but I'm just hanging out, and we're gonna do this for a while, and just kind of hang out and jabber. I'm not really doing a Q&A here. I'm just kind of doing this, folding and stuffing letters. And I'm pretty excited about this. I don't know, like, you know how you have like a project in your head and there's all these pieces and it seems so big, and then, like, I don't know, for me, when it, I don't know, fighting me, and it all comes together, it's just exciting to see it. Like, you know, it did feel like a big task, and then suddenly I'm having like fun with it. Yesterday I spent all day getting all the stamps and addresses put on the envelopes. And at first I was like, my nervous system was like, this is going to take forever. And then I was like, wait a minute, I'm just sitting back here listening to music, putting stickers on stuff. Calm down, April. Like, and it was like, suddenly I found myself like enjoying it, and it was just calm and slow paced. My nervous system is just so, from years of running the apothecary, and like having like hard deadlines and like constantly pushing, and like you couldn't ever really do anything at a slow pace because you were already behind 10 steps. And so this is kind of helping me, like, I don't know, rebuild a healthier relationship with work. I don't really see it as work, even though I know it is, but like my nervous system is like, grind harder. I'm like, calm down, girl, calm down. Yeah, but yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm really excited because Let me show you in a second here when I stuff this next one. I'm getting through all the international ones now. And by the way, if you're an international person, shipping is free. Because a stamp is still just about the only affordable thing through the post office right now for international shipping. So, I was able to do that without it like completely making me go bust. So anywhere in the world you can sign up and get a letter from me, and so I'll cover their address up. But I was really excited because I was able to put the little write me back envelope there for the PO box, so people who join the letters can write me back. And then if you put a little star on your envelope when you write me back, then I'll know that you feel comfortable with like me potentially like reading that on a live Q&A. I thought what I would do is get myself like a basket or a bag or something that I put all of those letters into that have a star on them. And then I would just shake it up and randomly like pick them out throughout the Q&A and read one, like let's go to the basket and like read one from you guys. And I thought that would be cool. And I think it's about the only way that it's fair. There's no way, especially if everybody writes me back, that I'd be able to respond to everyone. But if I put them in a basket and randomly draw, everybody has an equal chance to be picked. And I just thought that would be kind of fun to do in general. But yeah. So really, I'm just doing this. And it's been weird. It's been weird because, for the past week, like basically what happened is we were on our way to my parents' house for a 4th of July barbecue. And we saw that there was a fire started at where I live. It's like 40, 50, 100 plus acres between neighbors. So when I say a fire started at my neighbors, I mean a neighbor that was like 4 miles, 5 miles away, right? But they're still a neighbor. And because we live in the middle of nowhere, and it looked like they were getting it under wraps, and we were like, okay, well, on our way. And then it's about a half an hour to town, and then to my parents' house from where we're at. And then we were maybe at my parents' house 20 minutes before we got the notice that there was a level 3 evacuation for our area. And then had to like rush back and got stuck behind all the fucking looky-loos that were trying to drive out here to see the fire. And then we had to like, a cop was like, sorry, it's closed. And I'm like, no, we're going. And he was like, you're not going if I say you're not going. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just mean. And I was like, my daughter's up there, so. And then we got here, and it's just been a week of constant like worry about the fire. But finally today they're doing what's called mop up, which is where they have, it's pretty much done now. It's still burning, but they have like the lower level crews on it, just like checking for hot spots and digging lines, so if it does come back, that type of stuff. So probably in about 4 or 5 days, maybe a week, unless something crazy changes. I don't think that there'll be any more fire crews up here, but yeah, it was crazy. Just wanted to ask if you're sending these all out. Won't it be awfully expensive? Yeah, I am mailing them, and not really. I mean, you just kind of have to like look at the cost of a stamp. It's going up, she said, in July. It's going up to, I think it was 85 cents per envelope. But I mean, I'm not sending them out for free. People pay to join, but it's only $20 a month, and you get 2 letters. So this is the first letter that's going out. This is the love letter to St. John's. Basically, every month I send out a love letter to a single herb of the season. And it's like everything you want to know about her, what she's good for, how we use her, what compounds are in her, things to know, things to watch out for, and things like that. And then the second letter that will be going out in a couple weeks after this one is just a letter from me. Like you get a letter from a friend, like what's been going on in my life, like golly gee, Pa, the fucking farm burned down. You know, something like that is what I'm definitely gonna have to talk a little bit about the fire in the letter, you know, and but yeah, it's just something that I really have wanted to do for a long time, and just have like this like calm and real connection with people that isn't like relying on algorithms and did somebody see this or did you see this email, and just kind of like you can't miss a letter when it's in your mailbox, you know. And so yeah, but I buy forever stamps because I know that they're forever going to increase the prices, right? I found these really pretty sunflower ones for this month's mailing. You look great. I'm enjoying your books very much. Sorry you had to go through all that. Yeah, it was just been a really I was doing pretty good, and I'll be all right. I'll recover from it, but I was feeling really good. I was like, you know, on top of the world, and then the universe was like, your neighbor is going to decide to clean a burn barrel that he swore he hadn't used in a month, and somehow there were embers in the burn barrel from a month ago on 4th of July. But that's neither here nor there, is it? But I can tell you what, my burn barrel don't have no magical ashes that can stand that long, but it is what it is. And that's why they have fire investigators. But yeah, and I also feel really bad for my husband. He's moderating right now, and I love him very much, and he's a wildland firefighter. Well, he started fighting fire when he was like 16, wheat crop fires around here, and he's just pretty much did it for a very long time, you know, wildland and stuff like that. And so he was stressed out, as you can imagine, trying to save the house, and I was stressed out because I knew he wouldn't leave. There's no way he was going to leave, even if they did an evacuation, you know. And so, but I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for everything he was doing and putting up with, and his poor body. He had just injured himself like a week prior, like lifting around boxes of meat out of the freezer. You know, because like we buy like whole cows at a time, you know. And he was like organizing in it, and he just lifted with his back and just tweaked it just wrong, you know. And so he was recovering from that when all of this happened. So of course he pushed through that discomfort and is in a lot of pain right now, aren't you, darling? But no, he's getting better. We have a really good chiropractor, and so it's just been a long week. Like one of those weeks where you're like, that probably shaved a couple months off my life. You know? But no, yesterday... Oh, and then something crazy happened just because it was fucking wild. Day before yesterday, I was in here in my office working on getting the envelopes, like, printed for, like, all the names and addresses and stuff. And, like, the internet went out. And I'm like, oh, shit. That happens here. We're on like not satellite, I don't know what it's called, my brain is it's like we're on like a responder, it like sends a signal, right? And so it's kind of like satellite but on the ground. And the internet went out, and that's not usually a huge deal here, except for, well, if the fire had hit the internet towers that we bounce off of, right? And so that's what we were thinking. And then the power went out. And then poor husband was taking a nap and woke up to that and was like in sheer panic, because usually in a fire they don't cut the power until it's gotten real bad, because they want people to have access to like run your water and things like that, right? And so he raced to town, but there's no cell service out here unless I hike to the very top of our property, and like my muscles can't take that right now. We have 40 acres, but it's like 40 acres. Our house is here, and then there's some flat spot, and the rest just goes up. It's goat land, you know, so it's like not like a flat, lush 40 acres. I wish. So I can't hike up there right now. Plus, it was like 100 degrees out, you know, I'd fucking die. But turns out that some trucker decided that he was going to try to pull his 18-wheeler into this tiny little restaurant that we have here. I don't know where he thought he was gonna park. There wasn't even if he had gotten into the driveway where there was no end game there, right? But because it wasn't meant for a large truck to pull into, he hit the power lines. He hit the power lines and ripped down a bunch of poles and all the wires and all the internet. And but we're out here, we don't know that's what happened, right? And so that was scary. That was a stressful day, but I was pretty calm until that happened, you know. Will that neighbor have to pay for all the fire stuff that got burned and the firefighters? Yeah. So there's a real possibility when they get done with the fire investigation that he could be liable for all the costs and or face charges. Like if you cause a fire and you cause like property damage or death, like there was a person not too long ago, they lit off a firework and caused a fire and a bunch of people died and they went to prison for murder, you know. And so nobody got hurt on this fire that we know of, but yeah, he could be in a lot of trouble, because I'm just gonna look you straight in the face and say no fire investigator, who, by the way, from what my husband tells me, because again, that's, you know, what his career was, those guys go to college for a very long time. They're thousands of hours of training. Like they're like very serious, like a lot of them are like retired like FBI and stuff like that, like investigators type people. And no world is he gonna be like, oh that burn barrel somehow hadn't been used in a month and somehow there was just ashes in it, and he's not gonna be like, oh, all right then. Right, like that's just not gonna happen for him. But you know, it's definitely was on our mind, like if our house burnt down, our insurance company would have sued his insurance company to cover it, type of deal, you know. But we're okay. Didn't happen. I mean, fucking aged me and my garden got destroyed because of a careless cop who left a gate open on a farm. But is what it is. Some of that stuff will come back. I don't think my olive tree's coming back. I was really excited for her. She's like a cold weather olive that could survive down to 10 degrees. Now we get colder than that, but I was planning on letting her live in the greenhouse come winter time, because it would stay plenty fine in there. But when they were doing the knock to let people know that they were being evacuated, he didn't just, it's not like, okay, so we're on a farm. This isn't just like a gate you open that looks like a gate to somebody's yard. This is like a farm gate that you had to unlatch and swing open and go into our front yard where the big garden is at. And before you say he has to leave it open to let the animals out, we're on open range. That means animals aren't fenced in, they're fenced out. Meaning my garden is the only thing that's fenced in, and then the goats are free to go anywhere they want. So he wasn't rescuing goats, and he just didn't take 10 seconds to close the gate behind them. And so the goats were like, oh, awesome, we've been waiting for this to happen, and came in and raised months and months of work to the ground. And it sucks. But it is what it is, you know. April. Could you tell me what herbs to take to raise my iron levels? Rather have my body absorb it. I know you're busy, so it's okay if no time. Oh my gosh, you're actually mailing them. Yeah, I'm actually mailing them. And I don't know if you're just excited that I'm mailing them or you just realize that they're being mailed instead of an email. But yeah, I'm slowly working on it. My plan is to ship the first batch out on July 11th. So you still have time to join if you want. And I'll just, you know, print out more. I ordered extra of these in case people want to join, but I do have extra envelopes to print out in case other people want to join. Not to jump too much into a Q&A in here, but usually when iron levels are low, it's so worth getting your copper levels checked, because it's really rare to be low in iron these days just because of how much iron shavings they put in all of our food. But sometimes when your iron levels are actually too high on a cellular level, what happens is it bottoms out your copper, because copper is a cofactor, and copper is used to put iron into your blood cells. And so when you're low in copper, it can't put the iron into your blood cells, and it will look like iron like deficiency, but what it can really be is copper deficiency. Not to say that people can't be iron deficient, but I really wish it was standard care when someone's really low in iron to get their copper levels tested. They almost never get copper levels tested, but it's something to consider doing. But yeah, so yeah, I'm just kind of taking the summer as it comes. My birthday's in a couple days, and I'll be 41, and I don't really feel any way about it. I mean, I don't feel 41, although I feel older than 41 some days. It just depends, you know. Um, what's weird is, like, I see all the people that are my age that I grew up with, and a lot of them, they're in one of two places in life. Well, it's not all of them, but a lot of them either are, like, somehow just having kids, and bless your heart. I couldn't imagine, but I guess maybe I could imagine if I hadn't already spent the past 23 years being a mom and raising them, and I'm like, no, my kids are grown and have flown the nest, and so I'm all right. But sometimes they're my age and they're still, like, hardcore at, like, the bar and all that type of stuff, and I'm like, that also seems exhausting. I'm like, lately I'm like, oh, it's 9:45, I stayed up way too late, but I don't know. So that's kind of just what has been on my mind lately as I get older, like watching, like, my peers and, like, where they're at in life, and how life is just different. And I don't advise having children as young as I had them. But you know, the next baby I hold, hopefully in quite a few years, will be a grandchild, that's for sure. But yeah, congratulations on making it to such a beautiful level of life achievement. Thank you. Yeah, I got pregnant with my son when I was 17, but I was 18 when I gave birth. And then I had my daughter when I was 21. So it was just like, with my son, I was told that I was told when I was 16 I got pregnant and had, like, a really bad miscarriage, and they told me that I would never be able to have kids. And I know that's bullshit now, because it was like a random walk-in clinic my mom took me to, but at 16 I was like, I can't have kids. And so I spent my life just, like, being okay with that, you know. And then when I got pregnant with my son, I was homeless, and I, like, quote unquote, like, came home to have a miscarriage, because they told me that I'd never be able to carry a child to term, that I'd have a miscarriage no matter what. And that didn't happen. And then at that point in time, where I lived, you had to have parental permission to not have a baby. And my mom, like, I love my son, but I didn't really have a choice in being a mom. And it was just, you know, it was really hard, because I went from, like, being a street kid to suddenly being pregnant and totally alone and living in a house that I had ran from since I was a child, you know, like, and so it was pretty hard. And then I had, like, a super traumatic birth, because the doctor didn't care about anything I said or wanted to do for my own birth. And she kept telling me, it was funny, because I was really, really small at that point. I think I weighed, like, 79 pounds, because, you know, I was a small girl and homeless, no access to food. And she got this doctor, a horrible, abusive woman. And what's crazy is she's, like, in her mid-70s right now and still practicing. She's, like, one of the only gynecologists in town. She's fucking horrible, dude. People have sued her. It's crazy. And she just verbally abused me through my whole pregnancy, would constantly tell me that the baby was going to be tiny, or this or that. And meanwhile, I had the college get me, you know, you can go to the college library and get better books than you can just get at the normal library. So I went in there and I wanted every single book that Ina May Gaskin ever wrote. And if you don't know who she is, she was, like, an astounding midwife. Like, she, like, birthed thousands of babies, and I read every single one of her books. I was so confident and I was so ready, and, like, she just forced me to go into labor when I wasn't ready, and then she kept telling me that I was going to have a tiny baby, which didn't make sense to me because by the time I gave birth, I weighed 170 pounds, which I literally doubled my weight, but it was all stomach, dude. He was over 10 pounds, and I gave birth in 3 hours, but she tore me real bad because I said, don't use suction if he has hair, and she said, he doesn't have hair. And he had hair down to his ears that were black, and I'm a blonde, so she did not confuse it, which she tried to say, I thought that was your vaginal hair. Shut the fuck up. Nobody has vaginal hair coming out of them while they're giving birth, you know? But yeah, so I tore really bad because the suction slipped, and then I couldn't walk for like a month. And so that was really rough. Introduction to motherhood. But now he's 23, and I love him and stuff. No, so yeah, and then with my daughter, it was definitely better. But it was crazy. I gave birth so fast to her. By the time my husband Kent, who's moderating, like got to the hospital, and he wasn't even that far away. Like I was like, it's happening, and he walked in right as she was coming out, cause like I told that nurse, I was like, she's like, you've got time. I'm like, no, I don't. Like, no, I don't. And then she was a little over 9 pounds. But what's crazy is it's like genetics. My dad, he was such a big baby when he was born. He was like 14 pounds or something like that out of my 4'5" grandmother. That they took a picture of him next to a 3-month-old baby, and he was bigger than the 3-month-old baby. You know, this is like in the 1950s, you know, but like it made the newspaper. And so it just runs in the family, I think. But you can genetically have bigger babies, you know. But yeah. Yep, I used to really want to be like a lactation consultant, actually. But I don't know. When I was young, it was really weird because I grew up being told by the school system mainly that I was like stupid. That I was like super unintelligent and like I wouldn't amount to anything in life because I went to school in the 90s. And I have dysgraphia, which is a type of dyslexia. So like, my handwriting is horrendous, and it doesn't matter how much I practice. It hurts. It hurts when I hold a pen because my brain doesn't communicate with my handwrite. But in the 90s, they're like, oh, she's just retarded. Throw her in the special ed room. And what was crazy is in that special ed room, the teacher there didn't do anything, and I ended up like teaching a lot of these kids like math, like how to read, and it was crazy. The teacher just did nothing. And I remember I would go into the library and I would like ask for the worksheets, and they didn't know that the worksheets I was asking for weren't the class I'm from, because people would just come in there and print them off, and I would go and get those and take them in there so we could do actual schoolwork, you know. And so I don't know, like, I never really cared. I just thought to myself, oh, I probably couldn't go to school to do anything, right? Like, and it's just fucking crazy. And it's just crazy. Because I know that I am the polar opposite of stupid. But, yeah. Well, I didn't know letter writing would be a what it was like to be a kid in the 90s session, but apparently so. Yeah, I'm excited for my birthday. I don't have anything planned, but I'm kind of hopeful that what we usually do, because my husband, who I'm for a month and 9 days, I will be older than my husband. And then he will turn 41. We're only a month and 9 days apart, birthday-wise. And I'm excited, because I think we might try to go to the coast again this year, which is like a 4-hour drive from us. We live in Oregon, but we're in eastern Oregon, so the ocean's quite a bit of ways. And then we usually go there in like September because it's not as hot, not as crowded, and the rooms are cheaper. And I actually like the coast when it's a little colder, you know. I think I would thrive on like a cold ocean island, basically, you know. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. But mainly I'm just stuffing letters and ticking away at it here. I told myself if if the letter thing gets big enough, I saw that they have these little machines that I can put the paper in, and it folds it for me and tucks it in the envelope. It just goes boop, boop, boop. And I was like, that'd be cool. That would be so cool. Oh, look at that. April Dawn, you have been, or you just joined as a member. Thank you. I thought it said it's far away. I have to squint down. But yeah, if anybody wants to become a member or even just get letters from me, you can click the little link pin down here. If you're rewatching, I'm sure I'll have it either in the comment section or the description. But I am, of course my brain told me that nobody would want to sign up for letters. That's just how the human brain works sometimes, right? Some of us, it's just like, oh. Sometimes I think I do so well because I always assume I'll fail, so I work harder at it. But, yeah, there's only because I put the limit to 250, and there's 220 here, so there's only a handful of spots left. But I'm going to open it up to more after this. I just didn't want to be so definitely go check it out if you're interested or you're rewatching this. If the listing's still active, then there is still space to join.
People are wanting to know if they sign up now, they'll get this letter.
Oh yeah, if you sign up now, you will definitely get this letter because I'm not shipping out until the 11th, and I might end up having a few stragglers that go out on the 12th or something like that. But yeah, if you sign up now, you have time to get one of these letters. But yeah, I had fun figuring out the art and stuff. Oh, and it was so funny. I went to I was like, I'm gonna do stickers and I'm gonna do all this stuff, and then so I got all different types of. I bought. Let me cover this and this. I bought stickers to put on the envelopes, right? And I was like, oh, I'll buy 400 stickers, right? And I bought 2 packs of these botanical, stickers. And I get them and I'm like, oh, damn it. They screwed me over, and you open it up and the top half of it is stickers, and I'm working my way through it, and I'm like, wait a minute, underneath the top layer these bastards put nothing but cut out pieces of paper. I was like, you sons of bitches got me. They scammed me. And I went back and I read the description. Nowhere does it say you get 50 stickers and then the rest is all just little pieces of paper. And so I went through the stickers I had and then started playing with the printer to print art on there, and I think it actually ends up looking better than the stickers and is probably a little bit less work on me if I'm being honest. Oh, thank you so much for signing up. It means a lot to me. I am just kind of excited to I don't know. And you can write me back too. We went and got a P.O. box and everything, and what's funny is the lady was like, are you sure you want a big box? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, is this a business? And I was like, well, yes and no, but this is just where I'm going to be getting letters back to. And she was like, why don't you just get one of the really small ones? I'm like, because if even half of these people write me back, I need a bigger box, please. And so we get the keys, and I was like, well, let's test it and find the box before we leave, because she didn't seem overly enthusiastic about making sure everything was right. And we go, and the building that our post office is in is a super old courthouse from the 1800s, and I don't think they've ever changed the P.O. boxes since that time. And so it's all brass gilded, and we open it, and it's I pull it out, and it's and it's there's it's been so long since anybody has used that box that it's got a dust bunny this size in it. It's I've never seen something in my life accumulate dust in a way that it became a dust bunny, and but I do plan on showing that because it's so damn old. And you can see obviously they were taking better care of the little one she was trying to upsell, but I'm like, no, I feel like I need a bigger box. But it just made me laugh because I was like, man, I don't think this box has been open since before I was born, is what it felt like. But yeah. Somebody says, if I purchase an herb from the nursery, how long until the commercial fertilizer is gone from the plant? You know, I never really worried about that all too much. By the next season, it's gonna grow new leaf if you're really worried and don't want to risk it. I mean, I don't use commercial fertilizer, but I also I just don't stress out about it when I buy a new plant because she's gonna grow past. And if you're really worried about it, you can gently take the dirt off of the roots and replant it into your own soil, and then you don't have to worry about it at all. It just depends on the plant. Some of them don't handle that very well, so definitely look up if the plant you're working with is kind of finicky or delicate. If it's a mint, don't even worry about it. Just rinse it underwater. Any mint will survive that type of situation. But yeah, sometimes secretly I don't hate it because I know that it will give the plant a really good push to establish itself, because it has those little fertilizer pellets in it, and it's, out of all the things that are poisoning us in the world, a little bit of that isn't the end of the world because you're not continuing to give it, if that makes sense. Yeah, I am shipping these worldwide, and shipping is free no matter where you live. Look, this is the international folks already. I mean, you can still join. You still have time to join. And I had to buy international stamps. And you don't get as many choices for pretty ones, but I found these ones that have scubas and cowboys and things like that for the corner of it. So yeah. They'll take a little longer to get to international folks. Although, I think, if you're in, Canada, it won't take very long. But if it's going over the ocean, it'll take a little longer. But yeah, I'm excited about it. I sat down and I really looked at the cost of, international stamps compared to domestic stamps. And honest to God, the price isn't that much different. I'm like, okay. It's essentially if I put 2 stamps on there, it's the same as if I just buy an international stamp. So, but I think you still have to have the international ones versus just the normal stamps. But, you know what was funny? I bought stamps. I decided to just buy them online and have them shipped here. And I thought that feels kind of weird or funny. The post office delivered my stamps and they made me pay postage. But yeah, I guess I could have bought them I just felt like it was easier to buy them online. Where I live, we have 2 Walmarts, one in a town 30 miles that way and one in a town 40 miles that way. And then only a couple grocery stores. We kind of live in a food desert. And so, when it comes to envelopes or this or this or that, if you don't want super basic stuff, you kind of just have to order it online. And gas is so expensive now, and I'm in Oregon, so we're at last I looked last week, last time we filled up, it was $4.50 a gallon. So it's that Prime Amazon is really pulling its weight right now because I don't have to pay the gas to go find the thing, but yeah. Are these helpful letters for the individual's health and herbal questions? So each one of these letters, so this first letter that's going out is a love letter to St. John's wort. So each month you'll get a letter that's specifically about one herb and what she does for the body, and that may or may not be helpful to anybody's specific health information of what they're dealing with. The second letter is all about what I'm up to in life, like a letter from a friend. But the cool thing is you can write me back. And when you write me back, if you put a star on the envelope, and I can read it publicly, I won't say anybody's full name, or anything like that. And then you get a chance for me to basically answer whatever question or whatever your letter is, during a live Q&A. And so that was the only way that I could think to make it fair, where it didn't burn me out, because it wouldn't be realistic for me to answer every single letter I get. but also give everybody the same chance at having a response by just doing a letter draw, right? Where I reach in randomly and pick one out of a basket, you know. Once this is settled in, I'm gonna start doing some herbal consultations. I'll probably in the beginning, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to like make it accessible but like paceable as well, because obviously a ton of you will want me to do an herbal consultation and they take time, and so I'm thinking about obviously the different levels, like can I have like, you know, you can ask me a single question for a small amount of money and then I answer back, or you could do like the full-on consultation, right? One would be like way more accessible and one would be something that somebody really commits to, but they're going to be research consultations. That's the difference. A research consultation is where you give me this thing that you want to know about, and I basically treat it as if it's my own concern. And I do all of the research, everything from studies I've found, herbs that could work, genetics to consider, lab tests you might want to consider getting done, things like that. And I hand that to you like a map, where you then understand, oh, I have all this information that I can use to like take my health into my own hands. That way you're not like beholden to me, or like anybody else. One thing I don't like about most herbal consultations that I see, they're just, I don't know, and I know that you can't say for every one of them, right? Because there's millions available out there, but a lot of them, the format is to make you buy things from them or have them formulate something for you, or like to keep you coming back for more and more answers. And ultimately the goal is to keep you dependent on that person. I want you to walk away from these consultations that I'll be doing soon and like not need me anymore. You can do another one if you want to, but I want you to have all this information and be like, oh wow, I can go this way with it or that way with it, you know. So that's my idea from. If you want to sign up for my letters, you can click this little link right here, and or that you see pinned, or my husband can drop the link again. You can also, if you're watching this as a future person, you'll see the link pinned down in the comment section, or in the description. I'm sure it'll be somewhere down there. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm also trying to take more time to do these casual lives so my body can learn to just be chill. Instead of like just kicking into like I don't know how to explain it. Like my brain has been trained for so many years of doing these Q&As. It's like dump out all the information right now. But eventually I want to make kind of like where we hang out in this space and I'm kind of like just doing something casually, you know. I'm doing that now, but still, I don't know. I think about like maybe like doing my beadwork with like music in the background and just kind of like hanging out, or like, I don't know, kind of like ASMR adjacent. I don't mean like, or like lo-fi adjacent, just something like calm and just natural, if that makes sense. I think that would help. I think that would help my nervous system a lot to feel safer in spaces online after years of after years of not being, from the internet being unhinged. Somebody said maybe you could collect people's more general questions into categories like thyroid or skin issues or joint pain and answer them all in one video about that subject. Just a thought. Yeah, the thing about that is I've made videos about all kinds of stuff like that, and people always want to ask, and then I can make like a broad video about it, but like not every human is the same, so there's a lot of nuance to it, right? Like one person might be having thyroid issues because they have no iodine in their body, the other one might not have enough selenium, the other one might have EBV infection, and so I can make kind of broad scope videos like that, and I guarantee you, whatever you're wondering if I've talked about on my 600 plus videos, I have. But people still want that, like, in-person stuff, you know. But yeah, and what's funny is when I've done like the specific health ones, that like a specific health video, they don't get very many views. Right, and just kind of just like a, like, I don't know, people want general advice and then they want pinpoint advice, if that makes sense. But this is gonna be really funny. But husband, if you hear me, can you bring me some apple juice? My orange juice is too acidic for my throat. I was like, I didn't think that through. Normally I have like a soothing tea as I talk type of situation, you know. And I'm like, it's hot, and all I have is water and orange juice. He'll hear me. Thought to myself, oh, I hear him out there in the kitchen already. Yeah, it's way calmer in here when I have it on subscriber comments only. My daughter is not able to do the, that one fought me, is not able to do the, admin today, so I thought, well, let's just do subscriber only mode so people don't yell at me, say horrible things. Also, would you close that? I thought it would give me fresh air, and it just got me with hot air is what it did. You have to unlock. There you go. Thank you, darling. The man's so camera shy, he won't even say you're welcome in front of the camera. You know, he's been making videos for me, with me for years. I mean, if you go back through all of my YouTube videos, anything where we're out in the woods, he's holding the camera. And I don't think I've gotten much more of a sentence out of him in the 15 years on camera, you know. Let's see. I almost tried to double envelope there. It's hot out. It's like easily 100 degrees out right now. I'm in Northeast Oregon though. That's high mountain desert, so I'm pretty used to it. I'm trying to learn this more calm space as well. It is tough adjustment for someone wired full throttle. Yeah. I feel it too. I'm like, how weird would it be if I just sat here and didn't say a word? My husband's the polar opposite. He doesn't talk a whole lot. I talk a whole lot. I have an idea, because my brain is like, alright, why don't we turn this into a, maybe, I'll be on for a little bit longer. If you have a question about me, not a health question, if you want to know something about me randomly, I can kind of just casually and calmly talk about that. Apple juice has fortified me. Yeah, no, my husband is very shy, but he's very sweet. And we make each other laugh all the time with wildly inappropriate jokes. And that's my favorite thing about my marriage, if I'm honest. Like, how much we just, like, laugh. You know, say ridiculous things and laugh at the world together and that type of stuff. Do you think benzodiazepines are the worst withdrawal to come off of? Yeah. And it's weird. I went through that. That's probably why she asked. I was on them for a decade for my PTSD. And so I could feel what normal felt like. But that was just somebody that didn't want to help me process trauma and gave me a pill instead. The weirdest thing about coming off of benzos is that it's not an addiction like something like heroin, per se. And the way that... you're not continuing to take it because you're craving it. You're continuing to take it because if you don't taper off of it slowly, you will die. Statistically, there are huge odds of people going cold turkey just dying, especially if they've been on it for a long time. I was actually just talking to my son about that today. Like, that was the hardest part. Like, you don't want to put this substance in your body, but you don't have any choice as you taper, you know? It's pretty wild stuff. How did I meet my husband? That's a good story. And how long have we been married? I think we're coming up on 14 or 15 years married. We've been together 20, 21-ish years. Back in the day, I used to sell a lot of weed. Because, you know, kids are expensive and minimum wage back then was nothing, literally. And I walked in one day to a trailer, to a friend's house who called me, and I heard a fucking laugh in the back room, and I recognized the laugh, and I was a pretty assertive person at that point in my life, so I just stormed into the back room because the rule was you're not supposed to have anybody there when I come over, right? It was like drug dealer rules. And I went back there, and somebody that I'd known my whole life, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Why don't you just get a hold of me? Like, why are you middlemaning yourself, right? But there was this super adorable, doe-eyed, curly-haired kid next to him just looking up at me like, and just kind of laughing because I was reaming into my friend. I was ripping into him. And I was like, you can just, you know, get a hold of me. And I looked over at my husband. I was like, you can get a hold of me too. And I gave him my phone number. And so, you know, he was calling me for weed at first. And then that was the end of that. It took, well, I was really attracted to him because he didn't seem to realize that I was hitting on him. And he was like the polar opposite of like the current abusive relationship situation I was dealing with, you know? And so like, gosh, I straight up hunted him. I pursued him pretty heavily, and you know, and we were together running around together for what, I don't know, maybe 5 months before I got pregnant. And it just like rooted in. And now it's bebopping around somewhere as a 19-year-old named Temperance. You know, so yeah, that is how we met. And then we decided randomly to get married. We were already been together like 5 years. And he was out of town and I was stuck in town, and there was like this devastating ice storm, and it was like I almost died and he almost died, and it was like we were like, we should just get married because we almost died, and it was just like the randomest choice. And that is what we did. Let's see. Yeah, you know, people are like, oh, what a story. I'm like, well, you know, I really like it, you know, because I just kind of busted in the door and was like, I don't know what would have happened if I didn't know the other person back there. I'd have just been like, who the hell are you? At the time, that was his girlfriend's house, apparently. So, but she didn't win that one. I love your stories. I'm so happy he treats you well. You deserve the best. Do I enjoy reading fiction books? I do, if the person is visual spatial that's writing it. I'm a super visual spatial person. And if the person writing is not good at conveying a scene, it's like torture for my brain. And so it just really depends. But admittedly, most of what I read is like non-fiction science-based papers. You know, I do, I read a lot of like cultural-based stuff, things like that when I can find it. There's very limited out there for my culture, so I read that type of stuff. You know, just little things here and there. But yeah, if the non-fiction, although usually when I go towards that fiction stuff, it's fiction in the way that it's like folklore or something like that, you know. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. Was it a private ceremony or a church wedding? It was, anybody here, does your guys' school area do what's called outdoor school, or is that just because I live in the fucking middle of nowhere? So we have outdoor school camp here that I went to as a kid, and it's made out of the old, it was like a way station from, like, the 1800s, before Oregon was a state. It was like, you know, somebody built a big cabin and it was along the way and people would stop for supplies and shit like that, and eventually the government took over it when they hit here. But now they turned it into an outdoor school. So like every year before school gets out, the kids get to go there for 4 or 5 days and camp out and learn skills and stuff like that. But you used to be able to rent it out, and I rented out the outdoor school for my wedding. We didn't have a lot of money, and so I think I pulled the whole thing off for like $800, and like $200 of that was my dress. But yeah, we just rented it out, had a party, camped, had barbecue, and just kind of hung out with friends, you know. I had my mom marry us. She did like the ordained minister thing, you know. My first time to finally catch a live. Can't wait to get your letter. You know, I guess it would probably be easy to look at me and say I probably mostly read nonfiction. Yeah, I think my brain is just always has questions, and so I end up reading by proxy of answering those questions, you know. But every now and then I come across a book that's cool. You know, I can't even say that I have any recommendations. Most of the stuff is just kind of like maybe some metaphysical stuff. Maybe the old Graham Hunt. I know people are so bent out of shape at him for questioning society, but I like the old Graham Hancock books if you're interested in like alternative theories, and like I just think it's really cool to think about like the disaster cycle and like what humanity like used to be, maybe, right? Like I don't know. I really suffer in our current day and age because we're not allowed to question things anymore. We're not allowed to have nuances. We're not allowed to be like, but what if, but what if? Like anything that you question outside of any narrative on any side, and you are just like browbeat with a stick for having the audacity to have thoughts and to think about the world as big, and wouldn't that be so amazing, and I wonder if, and wow. And I feel like that really like kills us like as a society, to not be able to ponder things and wonder things and learn different things, and it eats me up inside. Honestly, for my personal neurodiversity, it is the thing that eats away at me the most. Not being able to just have like open conversations, and like, I don't know, I hate it so much. It got so much worse in 2022. Like it just like exploded in every direction from every faucet that there could be to be angry about an idea of anything different. You know, and I don't know, it's just crazy. Let's see. I might get different envelopes next time. They fit fine, but this little flapper right here makes it fight going in. If they didn't have that all the way up, it would slide in a lot easier. Let's see. I'm currently reading Woman Who Ran with Wolves. Yeah, that one is a... Yeah, I tried to read that one. I feel like... It's gonna get me bashed. I feel like she worked really hard to make sure everybody knew how smart she was by how many words she could use to say a simple thing. My brain also is just like, God, if somebody writes really wordy, like if they have a hard time like getting to what they're saying, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody writes and reads differently. But for me, it was just like it just ended up making it so dry, if that makes sense. The book itself isn't bad, but I just couldn't. I just couldn't. I was like, oh. But yeah, I am. that stuff is okay. The one thing that I really don't like about not that particular book, but like that genre is how many of them it bleeds into like shamanism, and then like because so many European cultures were like absolutely like genocided and decimated by Christianity, so like a lot of like the knowledge of what life used to be like before that came in has been lost, and they like to pick up off of like Native American traditions and like lump that in. But I grew up and currently live on a reservation, and so I can spot that shit out from a mile away, and it bugs me. It bugs me not necessarily because of cultural appropriation, although it's there, but it's like you can't admit the loss because you're allowing this other thing to act like a fill-in, and it was probably nothing like it beyond animism, and that is like the worship in nature, like believing everything is alive. But like there was like this one book, I think it was like Fire in the Head or something like that. It was supposed to be about like Celtic stuff, and I'm like, almost everything in this book you just took from, and even said that you just took it from like Native American teachers, and I'm like, it's just, you know, it's like, oh, if you can't write the book, you can't write the book. Grieve it. Don't try to reinvent it, if that makes sense, you know. They killed Socrates for asking questions because it proved nobody knows everything. Powerful doesn't like being told they're stupid. Yeah. You think about all the people they killed over the years. Even if we're like, oh, well, like, you even think about, like, is Jesus as, like, a religious figure, and people think he didn't exist. And I think he actually, you know, very much so existed, and then he got killed for asking questions. And you can go through all the different cultures, all the years. They killed all types of people that were very much so like Jesus, you know, that started being like, hey, there's a different way, you know, anything like that, you know. As humans, we tend to be terrified of change. And sometimes that fear moves into control, right? Or like we pretend that it's change. We can also use change as a weapon, where we're like, this change needs to be made for good, and then it really hurts a lot of people, you know. So as humans, we're very complex. Did the goats eat all of your chamomile? That is the one thing they didn't get a whole lot of. They also didn't get the tomatoes because they don't like the way tomatoes taste. They got all of my fig trees, all of my pomegranates, a whole greenhouse full of collards and kale that were my perennial ones that had been there for like 6 years. Those might bounce back, but not quickly because I ate them down to the root. They got the olive tree, they got all of my astragalus, they got all of my beans, they got all of my grapes, my hardy kiwis, my hops plant. She's starting to bounce back, but I don't know if she'll bounce back in time for any meaningful amount of blooms or anything like that. But yeah, it was devastating, and I get that it was an accident, but like, you know, when I tried to talk about it online, people yelled at me. They're like, well, I guess he'll just let your house burn down the next time. I'm like, calm the fuck down. His life wasn't in danger. He was driving from driveway to knock on doors. He had 2 minutes to close a gate, and we're in a rural community where, like, that's normal. You close a gate when you open it, you know? Did I miss something, or am I getting yelled at? Let's see. I signed up for the mailing list, but put the wrong address because I just moved. What can I do to fix it? You can email me at askaprilgraham@gmail.com. And then if I haven't printed it already, I can just go in and try to change it. But make sure you go into your order section, into where your subscription is managed at, and change your address there. That way, when I go to do the next one, it's also not the wrong address. But also, if you have, do you have your mail forwarding set up? It's like you can do it for free online through the post office, where you go and like let them know you have a new address, so anything that comes to your old address will bounce there. So you can go and do that too to make sure that it gets to you. But I'm not shipping this out for a few days, so if you email me just at askaprilgraham@gmail.com, I should be able to print a new envelope for you. But yeah, I like the new subscription thing I found for this. It's very very easy for people to go in there and change or update or pause things. I mean, the other one wasn't too bad, but this one was just like very direct, and there's like a portal right there in your customer section, so that makes it handy, you know. Yeah, I mean, he could have been in a rush. I don't know. The cops out here are kind of dicks. The problem is, so we're on a reservation, so we have like tribal police, and the cops come and go a lot because they don't come here because they want to be here. They come here because they want to get qualifying hours before, so they can like transfer to somewhere bigger, from what I'm made to understand. And so we never really have the same cops, if that makes sense. And a lot of them can be really, I mean, all cops can be mean, but not, I mean, I've met a lot of cops that are decent people too. They're just humans like everybody else, but like, they don't really care about the people here, if that makes sense, because a lot of them don't have a community connection. They're just here to get their hours and leave. And so, you could say he was in a rush and just didn't close the gate because he was panicked, but I also think he just didn't care. He literally would have walked past all the goats. He would have walked past all the goats and opened that fence and let them through. They would have been in there by the time he was done knocking on my door, and he would have been watching them decimate the garden. He just didn't do anything about it. You know, and so I know mistakes happen, but it's like the fire didn't damage my house, the cop did, if that makes sense. You know, I'm the only one that lost anything in the fire. You know, that's kind of crazy to think about. So it was sad. I put a lot of work and time into it, you know. Let's see. Do you have any plans for your birthday? No, I don't really do anything for my birthday, and I don't know. I know that sounds so sad, but I just kind of like, things tend to go wrong on my birthday, and I don't really have anybody that like is the type of person that like plans stuff for birthdays, so I don't really have anything planned. The last, let's have a sad story. That's what my brain just said. The last birthday party I ever had, I was, I was maybe 8 or 9 years old, maybe a little younger, let's say 7 at the most. And the morning started out how it always started. This is going to be a rough here, where my dad's like, all right, go start the truck for me. Now, my birthday's in July, so it's not cold out here. We're in high mountain desert. By July 17th, by 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning, it is easily 90 degrees out, right? And so I go out there, start as a little red truck to go to work, because I always just start the truck for my dad. And I start the truck, and right after my mom had told me the only birthday present I was getting is that I should have told this first, this little wild cat that I had tamed outside could come in and be my pet. And that was my birthday present. And I go and I start the truck. For some reason, even though it wasn't cold out, the cat was sleeping in the fan. So I killed my birthday present. And then that day, I like decorated the yard for my birthday party, and then like nobody showed up to my birthday party. Not a single kid showed up, and my mom goes, well, that's the end of that, and then I never had a birthday party again. So I just kind of learned from a young age that it's not, you know, and it's fucking sad, I acknowledge that, but I don't know. And then like historically my birthday is kind of cursed. Like, it's not a me thing. Like, if you look up July 17th, the level of things that have gone wrong on that specific day are wild. Like, it is absolutely crazy. Like, there's even been people that have like slightly studied why everything happens to go wrong on July 17th. So I kind of just don't do a whole lot for my birthday. But yeah. Alrighty, I am making a dent in it. I'm like a quarter way through. I probably won't get them all done today. But yeah, I don't know. The next day we'll have the family dinner. We do like a family dinner every other weekend, and that happens to land the day after my birthday, so that'll kind of be like a birthday dinner, kind of. So that's about the extent of my plans. I told my husband, I was like, oh, fucking great. I was like, my house is going to burn down on my birthday. Like, if the fire hadn't calmed down, I was legit. I was like, I mean, one time, the level of things that have gone wrong on my birthday, like on a personal level, like you could make like a fucking TV series about it. Like one time it was July, again, because it's July every year on my birthday. We're up in the mountains and it starts to hail like fucking golf ball size hail, breaks a bunch of shit, and then suddenly the entire house, everybody besides me, got hit with a flu. I don't understand. And so I was just sitting there laughing as I like tended the children and the husband with the flu as it fucking hailed in July. It's just crazy shit, dude. Just the craziest stuff. The craziest stuff like that happens all the time. So I kind of just take shelter. Uh, yeah, Prince didn't celebrate either because they make us old. uh, but yeah, yeah, it's just something that, it's just a thing, you know? Just another day around the sun. I feel like I'm getting a pretty good rhythm here. What's my favorite smell? This is gonna freak you guys the fuck out. My favorite smell is like blood from a fresh deer kill. And if you don't know what that smell is, I understand. One lady told me once, she goes, "That's demons in you." I was like, girl, you like the way a steak smells. That's the smell of fucking blood and flesh cooking. But if you don't know, it's just, ever since I was a kid, I grew up hunting, aggressively. I got my first deer at 5 years old. It's a huge part of our life and our culture, and so it's just the smell of it, just the smell of deer blood on like a cold fall morning is just like, I could lose my mind to Alzheimer's and that would be the one thing that I remembered, you know. But yeah, I'm very big on that. It's not like I go around carrying like a bottle of it. I just mean it's just like my favorite smell. But yeah. And what's interesting, I know elk does the same too. We eat a lot of elk around here and things like that. But anything, I don't know, anything like that is just like, it makes my mouth water because I am an omnivore who hunts. Let's see. Did I have siblings? Yeah, I have an older sister. She lives about 2 hours away. We see her every other weekend at the family dinner. We are the polar opposite, I would say, of people. We just lead different lives, and we don't really talk a whole lot. We're not like estranged, but we just live a different type of life. So, but we weren't super close growing up, because she's 5 years older than me, and you know, we were just wild and free and running around and not paying attention to anything but ourselves. So, you know, 80s and 90s situation. Apple juice keeps coming through for me. Yeah. And she is really in a different section of her life because her son, I think he just, at most, he either just turned 8 or he just turned 9. And my kids are 19 and 23-ish. Or coming up on 23. 19 and almost 23. That's how you know that your kids are older, when you're like, how old is my kid? Because, you know, you stop counting the years eventually. My husband has a lot of siblings. How many does he have? He's got 1, 2, 3? 3. Yeah, he's got 3. That's a great smell, as long as the person butchering knows what they're doing. I know a few people who usually pop theirs and gag every time. Oh, I never did understand your love of it. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like hunting and butchering, like usually you smell the blood right then and there. Usually what you want to do is after you, if you get up there, you can hear so it pumps out faster, which helps the meat cool down. And then, but no, I just don't have a problem with it. I grew up around it. Like, what's so funny is a while ago, a couple years ago, my daughter was at a treatment place. She was living with eating disorder, and like part of that thing was like they wanted these girls to like, you know, cook food and stuff like that, and all these girls were like freaking the fuck out because they were like, we're not gonna touch this raw chicken, that's so disgusting. And my daughter, she might have had an eating disorder, she's like, what the hell are you talking? She just goes up there and cuts it up, and they're like, oh my god. And she was just like, yeah. Like, I got pictures of her from when she was just a little kid, like helping us cut up deer and slice meat for jerky and like being proud of it piece. And you know, like, it's just a matter of how people were raised. And if you weren't raised on, you know, in the land like hunting, or if you weren't raised like around animals, or if you didn't grow up doing it, it can be a hard thing to understand or not be gagged by, you know. And some people just don't have the fortitude for it, and that's okay. Your birthday is just for you, that special day when you entered this world. If you come on down to Louisiana, and we'll throw you a grand event. Well, I don't think I could be there in time. I think you know what's funny is, for all as hot as it is here in Northeast Oregon, because you get like 100 degrees here, the humidity, there's not a whole lot of humidity here. I fucking die in the humidity. So I'd get down there to Louisiana and I'd be like, give me a fucking ice bath for this humidity. Thank you so much for the super light IV. You know, because it's just... No, I traveled all over when I was a homeless kid and dirty little street kid. And actually some of my favorite states, like kindness-wise, was like Louisiana and Mississippi. Like everywhere we went, like, and we were kids, so we weren't like, I mean, we were dirty and homeless, but people could look at us and know we were kids, you know. And so everywhere we went, people brought us food or would give us rides places, you know, bring us water. And I cannot say that the same about most U.S. states, you know, but it's always really nice down there. My grandma's from Mississippi, but she moved up here, you know, obviously a long time before I was born. But yeah, I still have some family over there, although type of family where I'm like, we just know we're family, but like haven't talked and, you know, wouldn't know who we were type of situation. But I guess that's pretty normal. I mean, she would have come up here in like I think she came up here in like the 1940s. And so it wasn't like, other than writing letters, you didn't really, you know, and like calling people here and there, you didn't really have like social media way of staying in touch with people, you know. Well, you know, as far as building those skills, she says, I wish I had some of those skills. It's, to an extent, it's never too late to start if you're generally interested. There's always people that are willing to teach it. April, I'm 65 and I still raise and butcher my own meat, and my daughter hunts and we do all the butchering together. Yeah, it's just some people, you know, gosh, this year we had the year of the buck. So all of our goats had males. So we have 13 bucks that they're kids right now, they're not adults, that need to be butchered. And I don't really want to wait until the fall. They'd be better built out by then, but I think we're gonna pin them up here pretty soon because we're free range here. And I think I'm just gonna do 4 a week, and obviously I can't hang them in this heat, so I plan on just boning them and like shoulder and hind roasting them, right? Because they're so small, and I'll just keep all the organs and scrap for burger really fast. And then if I do 4 a week, I could be done in, you know, 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, depending on. That way I can just throw them into the cooler to ice down a little bit, and then just freeze them. I won't be able to hang them though. My son's real keen on building a a walk-in cooler type thing. But I'm like, yeah, but you live 3 hours away. So I'm like, I'm just going to do it that way, you know. But that'll be a lot of meat. It'll probably fill half a freezer up. Goat meat is good if it's fed right. Ours live off of nothing but alfalfa and free-range roses and whatever they can find on 40 acres. And around here, alfalfa is the main feed we have, so we're not being bougie. That's just all they grow around here, so we can get it for relatively affordable prices. Grass hay is what they charge a lot for around here, just because it's not grown as much. For some reason, April looks super familiar, and I can't place it. I don't know. Maybe I look like me. I taught myself to hunt in my early 30s. A buddy showed me how to break them down, and now I do all kinds of things. You can learn anytime. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, oh, son, don't shoot an elk. I'm tired. Because I'm the main one that cuts. And I'm like, yeah, that's a lot of meat, you know? And I'm like, okay, I guess we're doing this, you know? I'm always grateful for it. Sometimes I just like to plan it a little bit better. Thank you for the super and the birthday wishes, Jane Smith. Let me see. Curious about my tattoos. Well, I'd say which ones, but I know what you mean. I have a lot of tattoos. They're a part of how I like physically pray. They're like cultural. And so it's very, I don't know, it means a lot to me. If you go back to my older videos, I mean from a long time ago, you'll see where I had a big Om symbol on my chest, and there's nothing wrong with an Om symbol. The sound of God is a pretty cool concept. You know, it's just a Buddhist symbol. But I didn't really get it by choice. I mean, nobody held me down physically, but it was like emotionally abused onto me. I was with one of my exes, and if any of you have read my first book, he's the elderberry chapter. I was having CPTSD and a fair amount of postpartum depression after I had my son, and he was not my son's father. He just caught me when I came back to town. He groomed me when I was pretty young, and so like everything that I learned about being strong while I was homeless like just fell away as soon as you know. Long story short, he was now willing to be with me publicly, which meant I was old enough for people not to be creeped out by it. And I started having, you know, panic attacks, anxiety attacks, like night terrors and shit. And he told me constantly that it was because I didn't like have a close enough connection to like spirit and like God. And basically he told me that like if I didn't get that Om symbol tattooed on my chest, that he would leave me. He did that a lot. He would wake me up at like 3 in the morning to tell me that he wasn't happy with our relationship. And then he would just go back to fucking sleep because he was like a pure narcissist who later killed himself, and I'm super happy he did. Because if you've read my book, I'm sorry, he just fucking deserved to die. Like, the world is a better place without him in it. That is the level of which he is a horrendous human. And anyhow, so years went by, and then about, I guess it's 10 years ago now or more, I just decided that I couldn't handle that on me anymore. And so I started talking with some family and started looking at like some old ways and things like that, and just kind of like decided to go through with it. And so a lot of it is about like the generations of family and like the harvest and like the feeding of and like the feeding the generations, and there's a lot of like manual like prayer with the line, you know. And so it's kind of hard to explain, I mean, beyond that, as far as like, you know, I come from a weird little culture where there's only like 80,000 of us left in the world, you know. And so it was a big deal for me to like bring something together to like make myself whole, but also like remove him from me, you know. But yeah, I'm just grateful that Mark isn't there anymore. And it was really, because it was so funny, because people used to yell at me for having it, because they're like, oh, that's cultural appropriation. I'm like, girl, you know that Buddhism is like, what, the 3rd biggest religion in the world? That's like telling somebody that has a Christian cross, which is a Middle Eastern religion, that they're culturally appropriating. But also, like, the Om symbol is the sound of God. like it's, you know, the sound of existence. Like it's very, I don't know. Because other people would be like, oh, I don't know, it was just, and then they'd be like, I can't believe you covered that up. And I'm like, it's just, you know, it's one of those things on internet land where no matter what you do, you're fucked because you're pissing somebody off, you know. Your tattoos remind you of a rosary. Yeah, it's very, you could say it's like that. It's very akin to a rosemary, you know, a rosary, I should say, not rosemary. But you know, just for different purposes. Okay. The company that I had print these letters for me, they had folding services, but not for the type of folding I needed, and I was like, damn, because it would have been so cool if they all came pre-folded. Just slip them in, you know. But yeah. Yep. Every now and then, this will make me sound like a monster, but some of you may or may not relate. Every now and then, when I remember that he's dead, I laugh. I just, it's so much. It's so much. Like, and he was like the worst type of like he was the definition of a communal narcissist. Like, and it was just like, he stalked me for years, and it was just like, I don't know. His family was like, are you gonna come to the funeral? I'm like, have a good one, man. You know, like, no fucking way am I. I don't give a fuck. Like, that is just very, like, still owes me a van. This fucker one time, he was borrowing my van to go to work, and he hit a fucking deer because he wasn't paying attention, and that road is notorious for deer. So if you hit a deer on that road, it's because you're not paying attention. Like, right? And he told me that he didn't have to pay to fix my van because God put the deer in front of my van. It was just, and then the guy he worked for felt so bad about it that he gave him money to fix the van, and instead of fixing the van and didn't tell me, he took that money and bought a car. And so it was just like, dude, the fuck all the way out of here, you know? But yeah, you know, it's just crazy. I think there's special tattoos that make you who they are, not for you, not trolls. Don't worry about interweb garbage. Yeah. What's funny is I always, like, you forget that you have, like, a face tattoo or anything like that, and I just go up to people and talk like normal, and they're like, oh, hi. And I'm like, yeah. Especially because, like, where I live, like, it's relatively conservative here. We're in Northeast Oregon, which is nothing like the western side of the state. And so, like, I'll walk up to somewhere if I'm, like, you know, buying a cow or something, and they're like, oh, and then I just start talking, like, farm good old boy stuff with them, and they just drop all guards and just talk with me like normal. And I'm like, yeah, it's all right. Yeah, I know. You know, and it's a really interesting social experiment for me. I didn't mean for it to be one, but it just kind of ended up being one. Making room in the box. I am making a dent, I keep telling myself. And I told myself, I have this many left, but I ordered extra because I didn't know how many people were going to sign up, and then I'll send out an email tomorrow letting people know that it's like the last chance to sign up before this particular letter goes out. Even if you're watching this like weeks later, it's okay. I send out 2 letters a month, so you can sign up now and you'll either eventually get a love letter to St. John's Wort or one of the herb letters, and or you'll get the first letter could be the one from me and what I'm up to, you know. Oh yeah, that's wild and so inappropriate how he abuses religion for his purposes, but so many do. Oh yeah, look at the churches, some other thing to do. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't think mankind can help but abuse it, honestly. I mean, I grew up with, like, religion as a weapon. So I was pretty accustomed to it, you know. Me and my mom used to have, like, heated debates about, like, you know, just her finding a religion, and then that would, like, my mom shopped religions a lot, and so, like, one time you'd come home and my sister would be like, Mom found a new religion. It was like she would, like, warn you about what was about to happen, And so I've read a lot about religion. I've read the Bible. I've read, just because I just have to be able to defend myself. Because a lot of people use it as a weapon, and a lot of them haven't really read the words they're trying to say that they follow. But yeah, so I'm pretty versed in it, which also probably made me susceptible to accepting it, if that makes sense. Especially because he was a person from when I was young. I was like 11 when he liked me, and I think he was like, he was at least 19 or 20. So, that type of situation. But yeah, I just, I don't know. But I don't really have a whole lot of hate in my heart about it. Like, I don't care, like, if like people find God, or if they love God, or if they have a different religion, or anything like that. Like, I don't hold it against anybody, and I'm not bitter about it, and I'm not, like, angry about it, and I just, I don't know. Like, I have my own personal relationship with God. Like, I believe that Jesus was a real person. In that sense, it technically makes me a Christian, because a lot of people don't realize that Christianity literally just means that you believe that Jesus was real. But, like, as far as, like, I don't know, I don't follow the Bible in the way that, like, I don't believe a God that loved us would, like, punish us. Like, if you were, like, a really great person and really nice and full of deeds, and you did all this stuff to be heartless, I mean, out of your heart and out of goodness, but he was like, but you didn't accept me, so you gotta go burn in hell. I just don't think a God would do that. And so it's, like, really, really nuanced for me, But I try to make this a place where everybody's welcome, regardless of their faith, regardless of what they believe in. Like, it's okay. The land doesn't mind. Like, the plants don't mind. I don't mind. As long as we're all kind to each other, ultimately, that's all that matters. And because of that, I've actually found, what's really interesting is, like, my following is so vast and diverse across all age ranges and beliefs and ethnicities, and I think it's just because you're all welcome here. Right? Like, I don't really, this is like the most I've ever talked about religion, if we're being honest, but, like, I don't really need to make people feel put out, or put away or anything like that. Like, I have a lot of my own spiritual practices and things like that, and a lot of cultural stuff as well, but I don't really put them on display, because I also want everybody to feel welcome here, Not that those things would chase people off, but I mean, you find a lot in the herbalism realm where they, like, deeply entrench their, like, current day, like, what I call mainstream, like, spirituality, and it can put a lot of people off. Because if they don't believe that way, or talk that way, or act that way, or they don't feel that way, they won't feel comfortable in that space. But, so I just kind of try to make sure that, I don't know, it's a welcoming space for everybody. And the only way that I can do that is just talk about plants. So that's generally what I do. Let's see. Let me jump down here. I tried to read it, but after Noah, the flood, landing, and then having a barbecue, I lost interest. Hi, April. I don't know if you saw my question about how long your hair is. Maybe you prefer not to answer, and that's okay. I get to jabbering, and I just don't see the screen. My hair, if I take it down, I don't know, I haven't measured in a while, but it drags by a couple of feet at least on the ground. Like, this is, see, I started dreading my hair, I let it dread when I was 13, and I'm almost 41. I think I'm coming up on 26 years. I suck at math on the fly in my head. I think I'm coming up at 26 or 27 years, something like that. So yeah, I'm 5'4". It's probably 5'6" or 5'7". 5'7" long, probably. Some are longer than others. It's getting, lately, I'm having a hard time putting my hair up. So I joked to my husband and I said, oh, I figured it out. I just forever have to have, like, a rat tail worth of dreadlocks down so I can put it up, I can't wear it down. Even if I braid it now, it still hangs on the floor. Let's see. My hair keeps falling out. Yeah, that happens to us sometimes. Mine's a lot thinner than it used to be up here. It's starting to grow back though. I was having like a lot of stress and weird genetic stuff where I was like super low in cysteine, and your body like literally uses cysteine to like build hair. Um, but I've been seeing a lot of new growth lately, so I'm like, all right. You know, I wouldn't think it, but I just mean like along the sides here. That's thinner than it normally is. I just noticed a couple months back. Um, let's see. Wow, that's an achievement. Your hair. Watch your neck. Hope he wants to help you with. Oh well, I mean, I grew up with it like this, and so like, I don't have any neck issues. If I wear it down, it pulls on me, so I don't wear it down really. Um, but yeah, no, I don't feel it at all. I don't have like a bad neck or anything like that. I wear it like a basket, so it distributes the weight evenly. I mean, it's not, you know how if you carry a basket on top of your head, it doesn't hurt anything. But I also, according to my chiropractor, who I don't let adjust my neck because I have boundaries, but he felt that he was like, you have really strong neck muscles. I'm like, I bet I do, because I've been carrying this, you know, hair for more than half of my life. And it just keeps getting stronger, or longer, I should say. Yeah, it's the sides. Might ask what you use. Well, for me, I'm just addressing like the nutritional, like the weird deficiencies that I had. But sometimes if your hair is falling out, it can be a sign of low thyroid, it can be a sign of low selenium, it can be a sign of low or high methothione, it can be a sign of a lot of things. So it's definitely worth getting like your hormones checked, your amino acids checked, your thyroid checked, you know, and then topically, I don't know, I didn't want to start using anything to stimulate growth until it was, how do I say it, that it had the building blocks, because you stimulate something that doesn't have building blocks, it's just going to fall out worse. But the last time I washed my hair, which with dreadlocks isn't super often because they're like self-maintaining, I used a deep soak of emu oil on my scalp. And I probably do that like once every 4 months. But before anybody freaks out, like, my hair like is self-regulating. It doesn't get oily, it doesn't get greasy, it doesn't get any of that stuff. I wash it more in the summertime than I do in the winter, and sometimes because it's so long, what I do is I take my hair and I hang it over the shower curtain because it's really long, right? And then I just wash my scalp instead of getting it all wet, because even when it's hot, it takes about 2 days for it to dry all the way. Let's see. Are you clear of the fire now? We are, knock on wood, they're in the mop-up phase now. So that means that they transferred it down to like a lesser crew, and they're just going around like literally with their hands touching ash to see if they find any hot spots. They're digging line. But yeah, today's the first day in like 4 days that I haven't had like a war level of helicopters going over my house, and I was grateful for it, but my nervous system was like, because it was like every 10-15 minutes there was a helicopter, because the river is just right over here, so they'd go and pull water from the river and then go dump it, go pull water from the river and go dump it, like back and forth, and it definitely was needed, but it made it hard to ramp down, I will say that much. I'm gonna crisscross my legs. I brought this rocking chair in here. This is what I normally sit in out there in the living room. Because I was like, no way is my back gonna handle sitting in the shitty office chair that's in here for this long. I spent a stupid amount of money on this rocking chair 2 years ago. It was like, they don't make it until you order it. But I was having such bad hip and back pain. And like I read all about how like rocking chairs like really help people with back pain, and it was like honestly the only thing that I could sit in for a long time. Nothing I did helped other than sitting in this rocking chair, and then I discovered what the pain was actually from, because physical therapy wasn't helping, a chiropractor wasn't helping, nothing was helping. It turned out I was just experiencing mitochondrial myopathy. And it was no big deal. My muscles were just fucking disintegrating, quite literally. I had, it was fucking scary. I'm actually kind of proud about myself. Proud of myself. Fuck it, proud about myself. I had like 3 times the normal level of muscle wasting markers in my urinary test as well as my blood serum. It was alarming. It's like the levels that you would have if you had like MS or something like that. And I just did my most recent test for that. About every 4 months I've got to do basically I do a blood amino acid serum panel and then an oats test where you pee for 24 hours and catch your pee, and they check it that way. And I am so proud of myself because I got my muscle wasting levels within normal range. They're like right in the middle of the road. They're not even high, they're not even low, they're like right where it would normally be. And that is such a big thing because I did that by myself, you know. And I don't know, I have to self-experiment a whole lot with my weird health stuff, and I'm like, holy shit, I did that, you know. And I was just, you know, I'm not totally out of the woods, but, and eventually the CMT will get me, you know, as my muscles can't, I have a really, like, ultra rare, like, my particular mutation has only ever been seen in one other person, and that is my father, and that's because I had him tested as well to see who I got it from, and so eventually my nerve endings, instead of the myelin sheath, which is like what normal CMT is, my nerves won't repair themselves in my muscles. But, as my hands stopped working right then. But, I don't know. I feel like I'll be okay. There's only about 150-ish people worldwide with a similar mutation to mine. It's an ultra rare type of CMT. Those people, they tend to, from what I've looked at, there's only a handful that are like super severe. The other ones just kind of have like reduced mobility, pain, you know, things like that. When I first found out about it, I was like shit fuck terrified because like with the more common CMT that people have, that's where the myelin sheath breaks down. Like, it can get pretty bad, you know. And I don't know what'll happen, but I'm just doing my best. Right now, my main thing is stress management. And this last week really fucking put me through the ringer, but I will say that I feel like I am bouncing back better than I typically do. And so I'm pretty grateful for that. I fired my doctor over 4 years ago. I asked so many things to be tested, my thyroid included. He lied, said he'll pull the doctor order, and then never did. Yeah, that shit is super common. There are so many places that you can get your own lab testing done. There are even places that you can order your own imaging. Like, you can go get a CAT scan, MRI. And what's crazy is if you look at the cost of paying out of pocket compared to what they charge the insurance, it's ridiculous. I was looking at getting my husband a scope for his throat because he has dysphagia really bad. And we were like looking into it. I'm like, there's a place that I can go to right now that I can self-order. It is a 2-hour drive from us, or I think 3 actually. But, and it's a chunk of money for sure. It would be like $1,800. But if we got it done through here as people who don't have insurance and the doctor ordered it for us, it would be $12,000. Fuck all the way off. And I am in this weird place where on paper for the next year, because the business did so well last year, and by that they mean the IRS took a huge amount of money from me because I sold everything off. We don't qualify for the tax credit through the open market shit. So I'm in this world where I have to pay full cost for a market plan, and I don't get any tax credits. But even if it's just me and my husband with a mid-tier plan, we would end up paying like $3,500 a month for a plan with like a $10,000 deductible. No, I literally can't afford that. Like that's like more than a mortgage, for Christ's sakes. And so we don't have health insurance. I can't afford it. I carried the best that I could for my daughter when she was like deep into her eating disorder stuff, because those facilities are like 80 grand a month for treatment. But she's 19 now, so I don't, and she's doing a lot better. So I can't, you know. But yeah, this shit is crazy, dude. So we have, we did a health share, a non-secular one, health share, and they're okay. You know, I treat it more like catastrophic insurance, if that makes sense. Where, like, if we end up in the emergency room or something crazy happens, we could submit the cost to the health share, and then they cover it, and that only costs us about $200 a month. You can get better ones that do like doctor, like if you're using it more often, right? Like, but I just needed something that was for catastrophic, right? So then, instead of spending all that money on health insurance, I just order my own labs and stuff. You know, I pushed my way into a geneticist, and that one was kind of cool because it was like $250 for the genetic consultation, and then they order the testing from a different place, and that different place, it was really cool because they send you the bill, you know, and then they have this insane financial like assistance program. I don't know, there wasn't any like the cost bracket never stopped. And so I only ended up paying $150 for the genetic testing that I needed versus the $1,400 that it was going to cost, just because I signed up for their like the financial assistance program that I like section that I qualified for, right? You know, and then my parents didn't even have to pay because they just qualified for the free version, you know. But yeah, so I just and it's scary to pay for stuff out of pocket, but the way I look at it is, look at how much money they take out of your pocket for insurance and that you never see a return on, you know. And so we did the math because I just, you know, taxes and stuff like that. Last year, for blood work for the three of us, we ended up spending like $1,800 in a year. Right, like I couldn't even get a month of insurance for that cost right now, and so it's not too bad. I try to have, you know, I just order it when I really need it, and I always look for because I get it from walk-in labs a lot of time, and they always have sales. So if you wait, you can like get a 20% off code or this or that, you know. But yeah, that shit is crazy. Okay. I've made it down to the sticker ones instead of the printed ones. Going pretty well. My Amazon shop link, I think that's in my, I haven't updated that thing in forever. I think that's in my, my bio. But I also think if you just Google She Is of the Woods Amazon, it makes it pop up. If you want to get one of these letters before I mail them out on the 11th, so there's still a few days left, you can click the pinned link there. And if you're re-watching, you'll probably find it pinned in the comment section. Back in the day, YouTube used to let me type messages to you on the screen, but that option is gone. But I do have it pinned right here. I really like this paper. No, it just looks like paper to you probably, but if I get really close, it's like, it's linen. When you get it, you'll see the texture. I was like, and so this one is like a natural linen, and it lets the picture of the plant come through, so, I don't know, it makes it look like watercolor almost. You drove by Yakima and it's really smoky. We're about, I don't know, 2.5-ish hours south of Yakima. There's other fires up in Washington too right now, I believe. My husband had to drive way out past Yakima the other night randomly to save my brother-in-law. my brother-in-law, he's an enigma to begin with. He's from Texas, but he's also a Canadian citizen. And those, those things just seem, it's funny to me. I'm like, he's a Texas Canadian. And, but he grew up in Texas, right? But his mom's from Canada, so it's like, but anyhow, he's been getting really into rocks lately. And, so he went up somewhere up there outside, I think it was like Natchez or something like that, to do, some rock hounding. And he got himself lost. He ended up 7 miles away from his car. He managed to get back with the help of dispatch because they could see where it was at, you know, from tracking him. And they're like, you just got to go follow that road down. He gets to his car, and this is the other part. I don't know why. He owns a truck, but he decided to take my sister's Prius, probably to save gas, into the forest. And I'm not saying Priuses can't drive a little bit here and there, but, you know, it's a small car, and those are shale rock roads, and he goes up there. And he's on his way back down, and he gets not one, but 2 flat tires. And he ended up having to get, like, he found some random people camping. They gave him a ride, and it was just like, he got down to, like, this little lodge that they just, the only place around, and they were like, yeah, and we can give you a room. And then he couldn't, it was the day before 4th of July, so there was, like, nowhere open or anything like that. And so we were trying to figure it out, and my husband was like, tell him I'm on my way. He left here at like 10 o'clock at night to drive up there. Didn't get back until like 3 in the morning or something like that. And I was like, what did we learn? We don't take a Prius into the woods, and we need to get ourselves a Garmin or something so we don't, you know, don't get lost going places. Some people are like that though. I've never been lost in the woods. I've always just been like, it's that way. I'm really good with directions. My son's a lot like that too. But some people, they can go 10 feet off from the road and be like, I don't know where I'm at, right? It just depends. I have learned so much from you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and generous spirit. Your authenticity is refreshing. Well, thank you, darling. Oh, my little lap table. I have a bigger one, but it doesn't fit. It's a tea table. And I was like, oh, I guess I could sit it right there. I was like, my thighs are too big. It's not meant to go over, but I was like, I didn't want to be hunched over on the normal one I use. It's a set. It comes with one that's about twice this big, and then the big one was too big, if that made sense. So I was like, well, I'm just going to stick it like that, you know. Glitched on me. Oh, I went on live and came back live. Huh. Weird. I don't know if there's a limit. How long? There must not be, because people do those like live music streaming things that go for hours. Back in the day on Instagram, which is where I used to do all my live stuff, they'd only let you talk for like an hour or 30 minutes or something like that. And then as I got bigger, they like bumped my time up. I don't miss those days. I mean, I know people like them, but it's crazy exercise for your brain, because you'd be like, all right, here are all the products I have for sale, all the herbs, all the different capsules and everything. Now I have to talk for 3.5 hours at a rapid pace about, or you know, how many, usually they go at least 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours of every single compound and every single, I mean, they weren't bad and people really liked them, but there was like a whole triage of care afterwards to like help me recover. This feels better. In the beginning, in this one I was rushing and I felt overwhelmed. But I feel like I've naturaled into the pace. And that's what I mean by having to show up from way earlier when I was talking about learning how to show up and kind of just exist, you know? But I am really excited about these letters, and I thought, I'm just going to be sitting here anyways. Why not hang out? Because you guys seem to really like the when I was like processing, I think it was the lemon balm. Yeah, the lemon balm. And so I thought, well, I can hang out and do this too. Once I get this letter sent out in the next few days, I'm going to sit down and buckle down and finish my current book. I'm so close. And I've been working on it so long, and then every now and then I'm like, I just avoid it. I got 2 more recipes to finish up, and then I can write the inner pieces and then put it all together. Because I think I'd really like to have that ready by August. But I told myself I want to do this first, and then I'll do the book, and then I'll figure on the consultations. It's been kind of weird though, like trying to figure, like, I don't know, like relearning work. I know that sounds weird, because I've always like taught and been present and stuff, but like in the background, a lot of my life was like running the apothecary, and I've done that for 13 years, so my nervous system knows how that functions. My brain knows how that functions, and now I'm like stuffing letters and envelopes, and you know, having time to write a book, but learning that it wasn't always the time that was stopping me, or the, you know, just weird stuff like that. Question, any chance you will make a video or do a workshop on making your mouth mud? Well, supposedly at the late summer, Beehive Botanicals is going to, that's who took over my synergism capsule line, and they're who blends it for me. They're supposedly going to be buying those formulas from me. If they tell me that they are not buying those formulas, I might do something different. I might end up making a video about it. I might put all those formulas together for sale. I might approach a different company, like a, you know, like, because there are places that buy formulas. But I think Beehive will end up, I'm sure that they are inundated with people asking for it, because every time somebody asks me for it, I highly suggest emailing Beehive Botanicals and telling them that you would like them to bring back the mouth mud. But yeah, I worked with them for like 5 years. Basically, like, I would make the formula, and then they would like, we would like source stuff together, and then they would blend it for me, because they're an FDA registered facility. And they started doing my mouth mud as well. So literally the only thing that would change is the name on the bottle, you know, the label. I'm covering books and hanging out. I'm in a library. Looking forward to your first letter. Food or medicine recipes, though. Though food is medicine. Okay, so the book that I'm working on now is called My Mother's Cures, and it's an herbal remedy book. Although you're right, some of it is definitely food adjacent, food based, herbs and things like that. And it'll have all of my, a lot of my most popular, like, salve and balm recipes. It'll have serums. It'll have a very detailed section on nourishing herbal infusions or restorative infusions. And it'll have, like, vinegars and oxymels in that one. There's, like, what is it, like 30 plus recipes in that one. But also, it's a real teaching book. It's not just, here's a recipe, follow this, there you go. It is, why does this work? What are the herbs in the compound? How is this working? I'm like teaching you how to make a formula by proxy of showing you how it works and how to think about putting them together. And so it won't just be a recipe, like you'll have the recipe, but then like every herb gets its own section. We talk about the compounds, what it does in or on the body, why it's working, contraindications, like very real stuff. So it's going to be a 300-page book for 30 recipes, so there'll be a lot of stuff. But yeah. Thank you, apple juice. I don't think I've ever been live on YouTube this long and not felt like I was gonna die. So that's a that's a bonus, I suppose. Well, I'm thinking about cookies, in case you're wondering about what's running through my head. I've been super into, well, I've been baking for a long time. The past 2 years I've been into fresh milled flour here and there. In the past, I don't know, 6 months, maybe a little less, I've been really serious into it. But I found this recipe, and I've been using kamut wheat with it, and it is just like my emotional support cookies right now. And I tell myself, because it's made with freshly milled flour, quail eggs, grass-fed butter, and real vanilla sugar, I'm like, that's a fucking health cookie. It has so much nutrition in it. It has so much nutrition in it. It really does. Um, cookies. No more needs said. Yeah, but they're so good. And I'm like, it's like the recipe I've been following. It's supposed to make 36 cookies, but I love myself, so it makes 18 cookies that are big fucking cookies. And so I'm like, I ain't got time to individually eat cookies. I need at least 2 or 3 cookies per fucking cookie, you know? But yeah, what's crazy is like, I don't know. I had a lot of health changes for the better with when I really pushed myself into just eating freshly milled flour. And it's just been really interesting whenever a whole food really moves a needle for me. Because I already eat a ridiculously nutrient-dense whole food diet. Like, I haven't had fast food in... There was one time, 12 or 13 years ago, I ate a chicken sandwich from McDonald's and it gave me a 3-day migraine. And then before that, it had been a decade. So I just don't eat processed food. So for a food to make that big of a difference in my life, I paid attention. But, you know, flour at the store doesn't have any nutrients left in it, and then they put all the synthetic shit in it. But when you mill your own flour and you don't take out the bran or the germ, it's crazy. It's something like 40 out of all 42 like vitamins that we need are in it. So and depending on the wheat you use, because there are so many different types, so many different flavors, and like stuff from antiquity that people just don't know anymore. They have different levels of nutrients in them too. And that's pretty cool. Eventually I might make a video on it, but there are a lot of videos and channels out there that are like super dedicated to fresh milled flour that probably do it consistent justice, but yeah, I have been enjoying it. Most mornings I wake up and I bake a loaf of bread that I've been rising in the fridge overnight. And it has become a ritual. And randomly, not that it matters, but I lost 6 pounds. I lost 6 pounds by eating more fucking cookies and whole wheat and like whole grain, like fresh milled flour. I wasn't even trying. I was just like, alright, that's cool, body. Glad you like it. More carbs it is. Oh yeah, it keeps for years, even if you have food during the process. The wheat berries, yeah. Once you mill the flour, I mill it as I use it because it only takes about 5 hours or less. They say up to 14 hours before like it starts to oxidize and you lose a lot of the nutrition. But what's cool is a lot of the nutrients they'll lock in like once you bake them, right? And so once you bake it, it like stops the oxidation. It's pretty cool stuff. But yeah, the wheat berries themselves, they'll last forever. And the irony is I'm in big bad wheat country. We grow a huge portion of the world's soft wheat, and soft white wheat you can only use it for pastries. it's not high in protein and doesn't have it has gluten but not a super high gluten network, so I'm surrounded by wheat that can't be made into crusty bread. But all the wheat around here is sprayed anyways. I found a place in Idaho and then one up in Washington. And what's cool is because I'm close to them and they have like glyphosate-free grain and all that stuff, I get free shipping because I'm like in their free shipping zone. So I just order from them. I've been using for the past couple years, I've been using this like old school Excalibur like grain grinding box from the 60s, and that thing's a beast. It does the job. Just can't really handle more than a couple cups at a time, and it makes the flour really hot, which isn't ideal. So finally, I let myself order a very real grain mill. And I have a tendency to outgrow equipment, so I bought something I can't outgrow. And I mean, I could, but I'm not going to become a fucking bakery, so, you know, so I bought one, and it's supposed to be here in August, and I am excited about it. I constantly walk in and tell my husband, hey, I'm excited that I ordered a grain mill. I'm like, I can't wait till that gets here. It'll be so cool. I saw all the people that get like the Nutri-Mill and like the Como grain mills, and they wait 6 months for them, but they're still made with like plastic and stuff. And so like I like basically budgeted for and spent money I didn't have on a Salzburg mill. And this thing, it comes from overseas, and it has a real granite stone instead of a ceramic one. There's no plastic or wood glue in any inch of this. It's all metal and wood, and it comes with a fucking 100-year warranty. It's cool. So I don't know, when something really makes a difference in my health, especially with my weird genetic stuff, I have to pay attention, you know. And so I am paying attention. There's nothing wrong with those other mills. I just thought to myself, I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna go all in. And then if I was gonna wait that long anyways, I'd rather wait because they're making it for me versus it's back-ordered, if that makes sense. Oh, I put that on the pile. I was like, wow, that one came with a pre-envelope in it. You can turn the heat down in the freeze dryer to create a much more nutrient herb. Yeah, people have been trying to say that, but you can't really get it to go down below 90 degrees, which is hot for medicinal herbs. And it's not the nutrients you're really worried about, it's the phenols and the terpenes, which those start to off-gas at around 75 degrees. So 90 will push a lot of stuff out. You know, I know that people like freeze drying. It's okay if you want to do it for food and stuff, but honest to God, if you want to use it for medicinal herbs, you are wasting your herbs and your electricity and your time to do it that way. Yeah, who knew? When I made that freeze dryer post about how they don't work for herbs, people are fever pitch mad at me. But the craziest thing is, there was one lady that was yelling at me in all caps and 6 different comments because the internet. And then another lady, I like banned that lady. Like, I don't mind if people disagree with me, but it's like if you're calling me stupid and it's in all caps like a serial killer, you know, block. But then there was one lady that apparently was getting ready to fight with that lady on my behalf, and then because I got rid of that lady from my channel, the other lady turned her wrath on me. And she started saying that like I was like I couldn't handle like disagreement, and that I was like censoring people. And I'm like, girl, you're just yelling at me because I took away your rage for the day because you were gonna yell at that lady. And she's like, and now you don't. My favorite part, she says, and now I'm not gonna show you the detailed response that my Google AI made for you. What? And so I blocked her too. Because I just, gosh, you know, that's crazy shit. So people get fucking heated about stuff. But I swear to God, I blocked my Facebook again the other day because, like, I couldn't even, like, you can't even be like, I really like this bread. They'd be like, you piece of shit. Right? You'd be like, somebody could be like, oh, what's the mineral content of this comment, of this whatever? And I could answer it, and then somebody'd be like, do you have a medical degree? I swear to God. You all know. You all know how online is, but my nervous system just can't. It feels like I could be like, I think puppies are adorable, and somebody would be like, you piece of shit. We are not okay. Like, we are not okay as a species, and so, and admittedly, my nervous system is so burnt out. Like, when you are, when you have a really big following in particular, and when you run like Facebook ads for like the world to see, the comments that you have to deal with on a 24/7 basis, well, it's 24/7. It never stops. There are thousands. And even if you're not responding to it and just blocking, seeing it impacts your nervous system, you know? And so my nervous system is just So I just decided, well, let's listen to my body and figure out a way to get off of the internet and into real life, which is actually a big part of why I did these letters, you know. Um, but you're drying your herbs outside in 90 to 100 degrees. Who the hell is drying their herbs outside? Don't do that. Don't dry your herbs outside in the sunshine. Certainly don't dry them outside. No, I cure my herbs. I use a dehumidifier and a small closet, and I gently pull the moisture out of them. But I don't know a whole lot of people who are drying their herbs outside. Most people at the very least are hanging them up somewhere in their house. Alright. Yeah, I guess, and I was really nervous at first with these letters because of that, like the nervous system reset. Like I just didn't want to deal with like people like mad and yelling and comment sections and things like that. And then I thought, well, I only let members do it. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. If I just talk about it with the people who already know me, they don't, you know, like it's okay. It's like, it's the whole running of the ads. Gosh, I had to run ads for years, you know, because small business and just, I hate it. Look, only that many left. You're making a real dent. I don't know if you guys can hear the lo-fi music I'm listening to, but they've decided to go with horns. I don't know if I would call horns relaxing, if that makes sense, but some people probably find horns relaxing. I want to become a member and get in the mailing list too. You can join the mailing list by just clicking the link dropped right there. And you can become a member to YouTube, which is a little bit different. That's only 99 cents a month to become a YouTube member. And I think you should be able to just click the join button for that. Like if it says join here on the live or anywhere over on my profile if it says join. But if you want to get the letters, again, the link is right there. And for future people rewatching, you can, you'll find it pinned in the comment section. Your paper for letters sounds like sturdy cardstock. It's linen. I found nice linen. You can like, I don't know if you can see it in the, but you'll like, when you get it, you can like see the texture of it. And what's crazy is it wasn't that much more expensive. Well, I mean, it was a little bit more expensive, but compared to like, I know when people typically send out these types of letters for like snail mail clubs, they're using like flyer paper, and that just felt wrong to me. I'm even gonna write my my personal letters, because you get 2 letters a month. You get the once about, you know, like a love letter to an herb, and then you get a life update letter from me, like a letter from a friend. Those ones are gonna be on linen too. Are they 8.5 by 11 papers? I don't know. They are the standard sheet of paper size. Like this is like the size of paper you would put in a printer. Like a normal printer size paper, I think. But yeah, they're like a normal big size piece of paper. Are both letters in the same envelope? No. You get, this is just a 2-page letter. You get 2 different letters a month. So you'll get, I'm doing like at the middle of the month and the end of the month. So about the middle of the month you get the herb letter, and then at the end of the month you get a what I've been up to letter, and then you know a couple more weeks. So it's like every 2 weeks you get a letter in the mail. I gotta say, having the comment section set to subscribers only sure makes it calmer in here. And I feel bad because there are a lot of people when I do the Q&A, but that end up finding me and like talking in the comment section and subscribing, but there are also like hundreds of trolls. So I thought, well, we don't need that today. We don't need that today. I mean, you can follow me and then you can subscribe and then comment. We're gonna finish this together, aren't we? I'm gonna do my best. And think about dinner. But yeah, you still have time to join if you want. I knew that I'd have to do more. I just wanted to get this first batch up and going. Oh. I don't know. Can you guys hear the music? I have a microphone. I have words in my brain. I have a microphone right here that's supposed to just be a directional one, so it might not pick up the sound from the side. But if you can, I've been really enjoying, I've been enjoying looking for, AI-free lo-fi. Right, and it's kind of cool because if you search that in YouTube, you find just a bunch of real humans playing like calming music, you know, real music, just like in front of the screen. It's handy. Oh yeah, I'm glad you can hear it. Yeah, it just switched into jazz. Before it was something else, but it just kind of drifted. But I've been kind of really into it lately, just finding real human-made music. It's just getting harder and harder these days. I've also been listening to a lot of, you know, I don't know, notice, like, we're just kind of going back to the stuff we listened to when we were kids, and, like, when I was born, my parents were already pretty older. Like, you know, my mom's in her mid-70s and stuff like that, and, so all my aunts and uncles that I grew up around, they were listening to, like, I don't know, I grew up around a lot of the music from, like, the 60s and such. And so for me, that's also, like, a lot of the music that I used to listen to when I was a kid. So I've just been kind of, like, listening to a lot of that lately as well, and I don't know. Just that type of stuff. I'm slowly working on getting my little office here put together. It's always kind of existed, but this half needs needs some doing, and I got some new peel and stick wallpaper for the wood paneling wall that's here, and some curtains, and I'm thinking about moving I got a record player. I'm thinking about moving that back here. I don't know. If you're ever really stressed out or you're coming out of a really stressful situation, one of the best things you can do for your nervous system is redo your surroundings. like, let's say, this is an extreme example, but let's say you just left an abusive relationship and you're still in your house, but you still feel that, right? Because your brain, like, associates what things look like with how you were treated, right? And so if you change stuff up, whether that's just a new color of paint or rearranging your furniture or just something that tells your brain that this is different now, it can really help you let go of that stuff. And so I've been using that a lot throughout the house as I kind of like recover from burnout and learn how to feel safe in my own home. And I don't mean safe from like my husband. Like I can't even get him to smack my ass. um, I just mean like for me it was like we put it this way. We moved in here at the end of 2019 and we were here for 3 weeks before a devastating flood hit. And it was so big it made national news, and we were okay, but literally every house around us and like our son was stuck here, and like it was devastating for the community. And then within a month and a half 2020 happened. And so it was very rough, you know. It was very rough. And so from then to about 6 months ago, I was just stuck in the constant like grind of surviving everything, like the economy, the this, the that. And now, don't get me wrong, I'm not rich now, but I just I was really stuck. I was really stuck in that loop that was created in 2020. You know, that fear-based loop of, you know, the fucking world's gonna end at any moment, and I would have come and go with it, right? Thank you so much for becoming a member, Samantha. I would really come and go with it, you know. Do better, do worse, do better, do worse, and then just kind of, I don't know. My nervous system just wasn't in a place to let go because I had to work 10, 14-hour days, 7 days a week to keep the apothecary going, and I don't know. It was just hard, you know, so, but changing the house has helped me a lot, and I don't have the money to remodel. I just mean, like, changing where things are, you know, changing the color of something, just changing things around has really helped me feel like this is a safe place versus I have to run from it. I feel like, I actually told my husband a while ago, I feel like, I don't know, it's very, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I lost it is what happened in my brain. But I don't know, I feel like I'm nesting for the first time into the house. Like, I've been here for 6 years, and just a handful of months ago I started to kind of like decorate, if that makes sense. Before it was just functional and existing in, and there was stuff up for sure, but nothing like it used to be. You know, before the chaos happened and before we moved in, actually. I still have stuff. I have this big walk-in closet in my bedroom, and it's still packed full of boxes when we first moved here 6 years ago, because that's how, I mean, that happens to everybody, but like, it was just, in no world did I care about putting the house together in 2020, you know? And so it was just crazy. But yeah, it's just been interesting. Okay. So very happy to see your success. Yeah, it is definitely a big change. I was so terrified of it. I mean, I'm not rich. And it's been kind of scary because the apothecary is all we did for a living for a very long time. I just knew that I couldn't anymore, you know. It was just a hard reality to face, and it's hard because it wasn't like the business was failing, you know. I even like I even felt like guilt for it, like being like, how fucking, like how pathetic of you, or like how, I don't know, I don't really want to say privileged, but because it wasn't just handed to me, but like how like like the past me that, you know, lived in like extreme poverty was like, how dare you have the audacity to like walk away from something that's like treating you well, like financially. Well, I was just like, well, body or brain, if I don't dare to do this, my body's gonna die. You know? And so I just took the leap. Just took the leap. And it's definitely been an adjustment and a change and some scariness and some tears and some worried about I made the wrong choice, but I feel better and I'm doing better and things are okay. I didn't actually end up dying from it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't die from the change. There's a big one there. I'm still new here. What happened to the original place you built at the beginning of your YouTube channel? Way back machine. So, that would have been in like 2014, maybe? 2012 or something, way back then. We bought, don't get too excited. We bought 30 acres. I bought 30 acres of scabland back in the day. And, scabland is like, they call it that because it's like completely unusable for anything. So it was like in a canyon. It went, and there was like a road right here, and then there was this little bit on the bottom that was like 2 acres of kind of flat. The rest of it was like a sun-killed hill where like nothing really grew past a few months in spring, and you couldn't walk down it to save your life. And we started building a cabin there. I got this place for cheap. It was like 12 grand because it was, you know, scabland, and it was back when money still had value. And I'd saved up, and I'd been looking for a little bit of raw land, and we made the mistake of letting a friend who was in need but also said that they would help come and stay on that land while we lived about an hour and a half away. Friend is doing better now, and we're just casually in contact for psychological and safety reasons. But friend was a very, very, very competent mycologist, very good at identifying mushrooms, and decided to identify a lot of hallucinogenic type mushrooms, rare ones. He was very good at it. But there's this thing that happens. There's this thing that happens to people when they eat a lot of mushrooms, psilocybin in general. They get like a God complex, like honest to God, a God complex. And he generally just started to believe that God had given him our land. And it just became super hostile. And then, according to him, after he tripped me in a river. He put up fishing line because he knows I used to walk rocks all the time in a river. I'd go pretty fast. It was like a type of exercise I used to do. And he put up some clear fishing line. And tripped me. And I fucked my thigh bone up really bad. And then according to him, and it could have been, according to him, after that, Bigfoot attacked him. And he like got dragged out of his tent and attacked by all these flashing lights and who knows, and then he ran and left. But so I was really injured. It took me probably about 3 months to heal from that because it bruised my bone, which I never knew you could do until then, and because I fell like right onto a rock and it fucked me up. But so that ended the build because it was just unstable. And then my dad got sick, and then we really needed the money, so I sold it to a person that was looking to build a cabin. And then it turns out that that friend didn't really go away because apparently God had given him the land. And then after we sold it. That poor guy that bought it, I assume he got harassed for quite a while by him. And then, yeah, and then that was that. Like, it was just very... That friend is now sober and doing better now, but I only let them, like, casually message conversation now and then. He doesn't get to know where I live or anything like that, in case he has a relapse. But that's what happened. That's what happened to that land, which is a bummer because there was a really big, amazing spring on it that we boxed in. So we lived in the main house that I had for about a decade. And then I ended up selling that house, and don't get too excited. I bought my first house when I was in my 20s, but it was owner will carry, and it was a type of owner will carry because a bank wouldn't touch it. And I just found around here that if I could scrape up enough money for a down payment on something like that, it was always cheaper than a rent, and I didn't have a landlord. And so, but the first one just fell into my lap. But anyhow, so we were there for a decade, and then I ended up selling that one, and then I bought a cabin up on a mountain, and we were there for 2 years, and that's when I was coming off of benzos, and my life was absolutely falling apart. And, but that's when I showed up on social media, actually. And then the loggers came because the people that we bought the land from didn't disclose to us that they had also sold the land around us to a logging company. They are supposed to disclose that and even get our permission to it because it absolutely destroyed the already very remote roads we were living on. And we were trying to get by with the devastation of having 400 acres in every direction logged around the house we were living in. And then 2 things happened. I got snowed in, like seriously, like we had like 10 feet of snow in like 48 hours. It was fucking crazy. But then my husband had the chainsaw, and in those situations you cut wood in the winter, not in the summer, because it's easier to haul it out that way across the snow, but I was screwed. I got saved, and then we had to leave the cabin and stay at my sister's place until spring, but then the logging company, what a lot of people don't know is that when they replant the forest, they use GMO trees that are Roundup resistant. So they can come in and they can spray broadleaf herbicide all over the whole forest. Because they don't want the GMO trees that are their next basically crop that they'll cut in 5 or 10 years. They don't want them to have any competition whatsoever. But when they did that, it contaminated our spring. We couldn't drink the water. And so I had to walk away from it. I had no recourse. Nobody was going to buy it. Who was going to buy it? With everything going around. I mean, it was like you lived in Armageddon. It was like you were in fucking Fern Gully. Nobody was going to buy it. And so I lost everything because I couldn't live there. We couldn't drink the water. There was nothing we could do. And then when a lot of you guys probably found me when I moved to a tiny little town in a fallen down house. The house actually had grass growing through the floor of my daughter's bedroom. She called it Frank every time it came up. And the bathroom didn't work. We had to take showers outside. And I had an apothecary, I had an old hickory shed brought in that we turned into an apothecary building, and that's where I worked for 3 years to save up enough money for a down payment on this place. And the craziest thing is, we've been here for 6 years now, and I looked at my husband and I said, this is the first house we've lived in that has had reliable power, water, and flushing toilets in like 15 years. And so, yeah, it's crazy stuff to like think about everything I went through and how far I've gone, and I don't know. I would like if the rest of my life could just be super calm though. And this is the first house that I ever got a loan for, and I'm gonna die here because I will never go through that process again. Plus, I just, I'm not in a position to get another loan, so we are here. We are here. um, you know, that type of situation. But I'm really grateful for it. I'm really grateful that we have a good well. We've probably pumped out thousands of gallons of water in the past week, just making sure everything's really wet around us in case the fire creeped in. Didn't you make your first apothecary sales from an old flip phone online and living in a car, or am I forgetting from all those years ago? No, I wasn't living in a car. Yeah, my first apothecary sales were when I was living up on the mountain, the cabin where I lost it to the logging company's actions, basically. But yeah, it was a flip phone, and we were living in basically, well, I shouldn't call it a cabin. It was a hunting shack that wasn't insulated at 10,000 feet elevation. It was crazy. Yeah, that's where it all started. Actually, it all started with elderberry tinctures, and and I had made some infused herbal oil for like perfume and soap, my grounding oil, and I sold that and the elderberry tincture in bottles with hand-drawn labels. It's crazy to think of how far we've come, like how far we came for 13 years. Yeah, you know. And then from there, I ended up having to be at my sister's little cabin thing for 2 years on Tollgate. And I was really, really grateful for that help. And my brother-in-law, it took me a year to let me pay at least the electric bill or the internet bill while we were living there. The way he looked at it is that he wasn't there and it stopped tweakers from breaking in the cabin, but I felt bad. You know, I don't like to feel like I am taking advantage of somebody or not contributing in some way, you know. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. They plant GMO trees when they replant the forest after they cut it. And it's all pine too. They don't want the tamarack. The worst part, and the part I hate the most, they go in there and they cut down all the red firs and the tamaracks because they're in the way of the pine that they're after. So most of the time you'll go up here and you'll find just massive dead stands of piled up dead tamarack and stuff that you're technically not allowed to cut for firewood because it's on their private land and they don't allow cutting, but they sell it these days to people that sell firewood. You know, people buy it off them and stuff like that. But I think they should give it away for free because they damage the land so much and a lot of it just rots. And there are a lot of people around here that could really use like firewood assistance, you know. Thank you so much for the sticker. What's everybody having for dinner? I know it's probably dinner or past dinner time in a lot of places. I'm on the West Coast, so it's not super late here, I don't think. But it's coming up. We finally got like decent corn in over here, and so I have a couple ears of that I need to cook on the barbecue. And then I have a steak I need to use up before it goes bad. And then I think I'm going to put a sweet potato in the Instant Pot. So I don't have to wait 2 hours for that to be done. And it doesn't heat the house up. Thank you so much for the eagle sticker. I really appreciate the Instant Pot for that type of stuff. The trick is, if you're cooking a vegetable or meat, which I would never cook a steak in an Instant Pot, but if you're cooking vegetable or meat or anything like that, if it's ever turned out dry on you before, it's because you did pressure release. If you let it completely naturally come to like natural pressure, which is usually like, 15-20 minutes of resting after you've cooked, it doesn't pull the moisture out of it. And they have come a long way for me. Although these days, I noticed I've had my Instant Pots forever. You can't get them with the stainless steel inserts anymore. I just see this stupid Teflon shit, which sucks because eventually mine will die, and I don't know if I'll be able to swap the inside pots. Your corn keeps getting eaten up by squirrels. Somebody's having chicken sandwiches, organically farm-raised chicken, and a homemade potato salad with garden lettuce salad. It's a war zone in my backyard right now. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes those squirrels get aggressive. We're far enough out that we don't really have squirrels up here. That sounds weird, but squirrels like to live around towns and stuff, at least where I'm at. But we have a lot of chipmunks. The most thing they do is yell at me. They like to tell on you when you're outside. You know? That type of stuff. That one. Okay. Now I had, before my husband and daughter went overseas for a month, which was crazy, I had my son put together a propane barbecue thing I'd had in the garage for over a year that I had never gotten around to put. It was so heavy I couldn't manage it. And so it's just been such a godsend for me. I really like being able to, first of all, I don't have a ton of dirty dishes because I can just cook on the grill. It doesn't heat the house up. I can cook all types of things on there, and let's just, I like a steak when it's grilled, or a burger, or anything like that, But yeah, I was really sad when Instant Pot changed over, because I wanted to buy another insert, like a replacement one, and I'm like, what? It's all Teflon crap now. So, I don't know. I'm just gonna ride them until I don't have them no more, I guess. But I might have to check, like, I don't know, thrift stores and stuff for, like, the older ones. But I'm always so hesitant to bring in old kitchen appliances. Just because, I don't know if you know this, but, like, roaches really like to live in kitchen appliances. And I just don't have time for that in my life. Nor the capacity to handle the chemicals that'll kill them. And so, usually if I get a kitchen appliance that can't be opened up and cleaned all the way, I'll stick it in, like, a garbage bag in the garage for like 2 or 3 months, because roaches are tough, but they will die without water. And so I just don't want to risk it, man. I just can't. Plus, where we're at, like, because we're on a farm, my God, if they ever got here because of, like, the animal feed and stuff that's outside, I would never get rid of them. They would never go away. I know in some places they're just kind of like a normal, like, they're just around, it's just kind of part of life. But here they seem to go, because they're not, like, capable of living outside where I'm at in the wintertime, they seem to be worse, if that makes sense, because they only can be in your home. And so they're, like, aggressive by it. I get scared of roaches and bed bugs, so I won't. Yeah, bed bugs too. I'm like, that's a cute couch, but I'm not. I just can't, dude. I've been attacked by all those things. One time, when I was a street kid, I was stuck in Vegas, which was my own personal hell. And, no matter where you slept at night, the roaches would come and bite you. Like, it was horrible. They're like, it's gonna be dead soon, just start eating it now. So I just can't, Bed bugs, they are life-destroying. People lose their homes and shit over it, because you can't, or all your stuff, because you can't keep anything. Yeah, I don't know why they got rid of the stainless steel inner pots. I bet it was cheaper, because they can use cheap, shitty metal on the inners and then just spray it with formaldehyde-releasing chemicals. I feel like I should be smoking a cigarette in the rain in this music. Waiting for some guy in, like, a trench coat and a detective hat to show up and be like, hey, toots, it'll be alright. I'm so close. Look. We're gonna finish this together for emotional support reasons. And then I'll print more tomorrow because you guys can still join. Well, this is the calmest live I've ever done. Since the US has been the great experiment, it wouldn't surprise me if Teflon is just another experiment to see how those things affect the body. Oh, I don't doubt it at all. They already know how it affects the body. I mean, the truth is, if you own a bird, you can't cook with Teflon because it off-gasses and kills the birds. That is literally the canary in the coal mine, you know? I use cast iron and stainless steel, glass, some enamel. Although, with a grill, I don't have to use the cast iron a whole lot, because that's usually what I'm using to cook like meat and stuff, but I can use the grill. Cast iron rocks, yeah. How might one raise their copper levels? Lots of copper-rich food. Seafood is really rich in copper. High-quality chocolate that hasn't been like super dark chocolate that hasn't been super processed is really rich in copper. Goat milk, in particular, is pretty rich in copper because you have to give goats copper, and it passes through the milk. I give all of my goats get a special Fig Newton treat twice a year, and inside of that Fig Newton is a copper bolus. And so the copper goes into their stomach, and it's like little tiny like shreddings of copper, and it sticks in their stomach so they have enough copper. And then that copper, as they're digesting it, comes into the milk. I clicked on one that actually says Trumpet Cafe. I didn't even know that. I was like, oh, I'll choose this one over. Switch on over to that one. Fun fact about me, I'm not a big fan of horns. And I was just like, well, this is exposure therapy as I listen to horns play for the next hour. I'm glad you're enjoying it. He says, absolutely loving the vibes in here. So calm, just chilling with April and sharing space. Yeah, I think this is good for my nervous system. Just finding the balance, and maybe not 3 hours every time, but and bless my husband's heart if he's been in here moderating the entire time, although there's not a whole lot to be moderating, so maybe he just likes to listen to his wife talk. I also just feel like we've come this far. We're going to finish this together. Oh. The newish necklace. I am just going to buy a steamer to do my veggies and some fish I eat. Making life easier. This necklace I'm wearing, I've been wearing it for about 6 months or so, maybe longer. This one right here. It's a really cool, like, pre-Pictish, like, water glyph symbol from Ireland, and they don't know what it means. I will say, when I started wearing it, I really started craving oysters and pearls. But I really enjoy the energy it has. They found it carved on a rock next to a river. And it's pre-Pictish, which is cool. And then I got the necklace that it's on off of Goodwill. And what's crazy is I got it like for like, I want to say I won it on an auction for like $20, but it's solid sterling with all the different things. And when I looked it up, it's like a $200 necklace. So I'm like, well, I wouldn't have paid that for it, but I'm grateful to have it. And I made this one myself. Like, I tried out that, it's like silver and clay. You make, you basically make your own mold, and then you hit it with, you make it into whatever you want, and then you hit it with a torch, and it burns off the clay, and it turns into sterling silver. And I made a horseshoe. I used a mold. I found like a little horseshoe mold on Etsy and pressed it into it. Sometimes our out-of-state daughter calls and has us leave the phone on so she can feel like she's home even if we don't talk. That's absolutely adorable. Also, it tells me a lot about you as parents, that she feels so safe with you that she just even wants to hear the sound of home. Professional letter folder at this point. Yeah, I can't remember what this stuff is called now. It's been a while since I've made it. It's like silver cast. It comes in copper too, brass, gold if you can afford it. And you have to work really fast with it. It's pretty neat. A lot of people do like imprints, like you can like push in like a plant and take it out and let it dry and then like silver it. I was a one and done situation though. I did that and then I gave it all to my son. I was like, you can work with this. It wasn't hard, it just... I don't think I've even taken it off since I've made it. It's catching all the luck falling out of my neck. I have developed an allergy to metal and can't wear earrings anymore. I'm 57 and I've had my ears pierced since I was 7. Crazy. I wonder if you could, well, you probably have already, but I wonder if you could try like pure like sterling silver, or if it's silver, if you could get like surgical grade stuff. Just depends on what the specific metal allergy is. My daughter was like that from the jump. She can't wear anything besides pure silver, and her ears are, it just doesn't go well for her. Home to me would be lentil soup. Yeah, I guess I could say the same. My mom made a lot of lentil soup. I eat a lot of lentils, mainly in the winter time. I really like the golden lentils. I really like split pea soup too, but like if you have the golden split peas. Felt like it had an extra one in there. It did not. We sure have made a dent in the big pile though, haven't we? You want to know something funny? I use a program that pulls in like everybody's like addresses, and then it pulls it into like a Google Doc, so I can then print it on all the envelopes, right? And somehow, like the day before when the power went off, I was in the middle of trying to make that work, and I was like, oh well shit, because I hadn't printed very much. And then the next day when it came back on and I sat down to really do it, I I was like, wow, this is a lot. But I have dyscalculia as well, which means I kind of like suck at math to an extent. Like it just, and so my mind was like, well, we sure are printing some letters. And then it turns out that even though I canceled the print queue on my computer, it didn't cancel it it didn't cancel it in the printer queue. And so I ended up printing like 500. So I double printed everything. I double printed every letter. So now I already have them I'm just telling myself, you pre-printed them for the next mailing, April. It's okay. So I have a stack that big with your name on it if you're a part of this that is already waiting to be filled. And I was like, oh my gosh, sure, April, that's what 200 looks like versus 500. It made me laugh. I think, what is today, the 9th? Right. Today's the 9th, I think. That means in 2 more days these mail out. Because I'll wait for everybody else to roll in and get those letters done, and then I have overfilled my box down here. I have many big jars with different lentils, me too. I make veg thing, lentils, onion, garlic, sun-dried tomatoes, mushrooms with many herbs, oil. I cannot eat meat. Oh, that's unfortunate. I was going to say, because I like lentils, and then I add meat to it. You know that too, or sometimes I just have them as is. I usually do it with like a bunch of tomatoes and things like that. I eat a fair amount of beans and stuff. I eat them more in the wintertime. We've been at this live so long, we're building community in the chat here. People jabbering about earrings and stuff. That's awesome. It takes a lot to have a calm enough comment section to have conversations about things with each other, because usually people are yelling and things going so fast, you know? Oh, a lentil taco filling? That doesn't sound bad. Yeah, if you use like the beluga ones, the black belugas that keep their shape, something that keeps their shape, I could see how that would work pretty well with tacos. I don't think it would be, I mean, I guess you could make like a refried beans with the ones that go soft, but I feel like the firm ones are probably what you're talking about. I hear a helicopter. We're so close. I know when this gets bigger, I'll have to have my husband sitting off to the side helping me do this. Although I know we're jabbering, so it's not as fast as if it wasn't talking on a live video. But that's okay. You stuffing envelopes really takes me back to childhood. My mom was a hell of an entrepreneur and had multiple of her own businesses, and I was a child labor stuffing envelopes for days. Yeah. My kids helped me a lot with the apothecary in the beginning too. putting stuff in they were like stuffing the bubble wrap things that they had to go into and peeling and sticking and all that type of stuff. They did that for a long time. I paid them, but you know. Yeah, I'm still live. It's the longest live I've ever done on here. I think it's 3 hours. I'm almost done though. This is how many I have left. And then we'll look at the whole box as a whole. Well, I can't lift it up, but I'll do my best. I mean, I can physically lift it. I just mean it'll fall over. We are just hanging out. The papers are letters from me. They're this one has a love letter to St. John's wort, so it's all about why she's amazing, what you would use her for, what she can do for you, you know, what her compounds are, and all that kind of stuff. So I send this one out once a month, and then you also get, so you get 2 letters a month. You also get a letter from me at the end of the month about, you know, what I've been up to, what's going on in my life. Just basically a letter from a friend. And if you would like to join in, because there's still time, because these don't ship out until the 11th. So anyone who decides to join now will get this first one. This is the first ever one I'm sending out. And so I'm very excited about it. And I've just been sitting here stuffing 200 envelopes, jabbering with people about it. But the link should be there pinned, and for anyone who is rewatching and has watched this long, I love you. But also you'll find it in the comment section of the rewatch video. I feel like we'll celebrate on the last one, but then I know tomorrow I'll have to do more, and that's okay. It's oddly meditative. I'm really excited to start getting the letters back from you guys too, because I think that part is going to be really fun and really interactive. You know, we'd be on the lives reading letters together. Of course, I want you to put a star on your envelope if you feel comfortable with me reading it publicly. I wish they made the link clickable. It should be clickable. If you open up the pinned comment, you should see the clickable link right there. Unless YouTube has changed something. I guess it's possible. But it'll be clickable in the pinned comment for sure. They usually don't make it clippable in clickable in a reel. Like if you put it on your reel or your short. This is the last one. Going to Tyler. I had a good time when I was printing all the letters. seeing all the different like last names. Imagine like, you know, like, oh, what did your family do for a living forever ago, and that last name and this last name, and that's what, I don't know. It was just fun seeing all the different names, pretty first names and things like that. All right, this is the last one from today. All sealed up. All sealed up and ready to go. Let me see if I can do this. Let me go ahead and organize. So we can be in I have to organize them for the post office anyways. So those there. By organize, I just mean I'm gonna give them to them in stacks. So you can see everything we've done here. All right, let me push it back a bit so you can see. There you go. I don't know if I'm gonna fit them all on this little table. But I'm gonna organize them and then put them back in the box organized. They're fluffier once they've got the mail stuff in them. Much fluffier. I feel like I'm playing Jenga with letters. Okay. That's all of them. Well, I also have this big stack, but these are all the international ones, so I'm not gonna stick them in with these because these are all the ones going in country. But if you do want to join and you're watching from a different country, it's free shipping. So I don't charge shipping, so you can get a letter too. Okay. Now let's see if I can put these in the box. I'm gonna put them all on there. I'm gonna use both hands is what you're gonna do, April. I'm gonna put them on their sides. Yeah, but I think eventually I will have to get one of those like postal crates to give people, not a crate, but you know, like a bin. Yeah, I didn't think I would package. I didn't think I'd manage it. I didn't think I'd be on live for 3 hours, but it's been pretty chill. I don't feel like, in the beginning, I know I was like, my body was like, oh, this is a Q&A. You have to like talk all the time, but I feel like we settled in pretty good. And I was just gonna be sitting back here anyways. Might as well be jabbering at somebody besides myself. This is gonna be a 2-layer job. Whenever your brain tells you that something isn't going to work and that you're gonna fail, just keep doing it anyways, because I didn't think I'd get very many people to sign up. You know, I really didn't. And here I am with a pretty big box of letters. Getting everybody in there ready to go. And then tomorrow, I won't do it live tomorrow, but tomorrow I will get the rest going, because if you want the first letter, if you want to get the very first one I'm sending out, which is the love letter to St. John's wort, you can still sign up, and I will still send you a letter. And if you didn't sign up in time, don't worry, you signed up in time for the next letter. So no matter what, I'm sending a letter every 2 weeks, and you'll either get a love letter to an herb or what's going on in my life letter, depending on when you join the cycle. It is only $20 a month. That gets you 2 letters, and then you can write me back. There's a P.O. box right here that lets people write me back who join. It says write me back, and you can write me back, and then I am going to be randomly drawing letters to read them live and like answer your questions. It doesn't have to be a health question. You can write me about anything. I know a lot of people will definitely write me health questions, and that's okay. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited. Thank you so much for hanging out with me during that entire time. If any of you have been here for the full 3 hours, I love you. You know, that's a big stretch. I didn't expect to be here this long, but I'm not mad about it or anything. And I'm just really grateful that you hung out with me the entire time. So thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait to start seeing like share with me when your letters show up. Let me know when they show safe and sound, because it's postal mail. There's no tracking. I'm just putting letters in the mail. So I won't know until you tell me, and I really look forward to it. So thank you so much for watching and hanging out, and again, you'll find the link pinned in the comment section, or you'll find the link to join Letters from April in my bio, and it really just supports my capacity to teach freely and be here with you. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a great evening. Bye.